I'm just lying.
You're lying.
Welcome to the show. It's Erik Nagel, and that is also me. The phone lines are open, 866-969-1969. If you want to get in touch with us here, maybe we'll have some stuff to give away. Ooh. We always usually like to have some stuff to give away.
Have we ever given anything away, Eric?
Yes, we all the time.
I know.
And then people say, I never got your thing. And I say, that's bullshit. I know for a fact when I check the trace. And
yeah, we saw the confirmation sign. We know.
Anyway, we gave you the phone lines. It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, all the social media across the board there. You can find this lovely program. Matt OG is on his way. Sometimes he has traffic issues coming in from New Jersey. Yep. Next week might be a big clusterfuck because New Jersey Transit might be going on strike this weekend.
Ooh, why?
Because I'm sure they need more money for something.
I'm sure they want more money. It's the same thing with the Long Island Railroad. All they ever want is more money.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like they raise the tolls with the Port Authority, and then they're like, we don't have money to pay for the bridges, and the roads are disappearing. It's like, we spent billions. Where's the money going?
Not only that, if you think about it, like the Verrazano Bridge, like each car it makes $16 going one way. It probably makes like $1 billion a day.
I'm sure it's pretty close.
Like it's
that's a lot of traffic for $16.
Yeah, I mean a million cars would be what? How many? If that's $16.
Math is hard.
Yeah, $16 million.
That's probably the only benefit of being a Staten Island resident is that it's like $6 if you're actually living in Staten Island. Yeah.
Well, that's what the only bonus you have.
Yeah, if you're cutting across from Long Island to Jersey or Jersey to Long Island, that's where they get you.
Well, I saw in the news today there was a guy, a truck driver, who hooked up fishing line to his license plate on the front of his truck.
Right.
So that way, every time he went across the George Washington Bridge, he would just pull the string and his license plate would fold up underneath and he would just drive through the Easy Pass without getting caught.
Genius.
That is some get smart type shit.
Right?
Right. But Matt will be here soon. Giddles is the one who just told you that story.
Yo, what up?
Giddle Base on Twitter and Instagram. How you doing, man?
Not too bad, Same old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
Keeping up. Working on food experiments.
This is lovely.
Yeah.
Joining us also is first time on our show, but not to this channel and what have you.
Yes.
Sean, a.k.a. Butcha, who used to work on the Opie and Anthony show with us and was with us here for a little bit when we moved over during the merger. And then Sean decided to go over to the music side.
Yeah.
Where he works on channels like Liquid Metal and Ozzy's Boneyard.
Faction.
And you work on Faction too, right?
Yep.
So you can... In fact, what's the promo that's running here that people would hear your voice in?
I think it's probably there's the Ozzy Speaks
show, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Ozzy Speaks special that's going on, and sometimes for Jim Norton show Obsessed.
Nice.
Can you give us a line from the promo?
Oh my God, I don't know. I just know it's like Ozzy Speaks. Hear Ozzy talk to Billy Morrison about entertainment, groupies, and more. Ozzy's Boneyard, channel 38.
And then you hear him say,
yeah. It's a real quick clip of Ozzy saying, "I used to hang out with."
You can find that promo in profit there. Make sure we play it going into the break or something like that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
As Lewis just stares at me. Never mind.
Did you go to any of those Sabbath shows?
He'll figure it out.
I went to the one that they had at, where the hell was it? The Garden?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had 12th row. It was on, finally this place came through for me after the multiple beatings I've taken over the last 10 years of being here. 12th row of Sabbath kind of made it all pay off. They just kept escorting me and I just keep showing the guys my tickets and they're like, go up.
Are you're waiting for a time where they're gonna be like, okay, you have to turn back now. You've come too far.
Yeah, you've gone too far. I was waiting to go up on the stage. I was like, you do know I'm the voice of Ozzy's Boneyard, right?
And they go, and?
Yeah.
We meant row 112. Get in the back.
Actually, you have to leave the venue, sir. Yeah. Please, immediately.
So Ozzy's voice sound good live?
I mean, he was sick as hell, and I'm sure Jimmy has spoke about it over and over again, but Ozzy sounded, I could not believe how good they sounded. And
that's cool.
Better than you're a metalhead, all these new school bands that are out now. Ugh. And the fact that Ozzy and all these other dudes are 70, what's his face? Tony has 2 fingers missing, and he's still a better guitar player than half the guitar players in metal. It's unbelievable. And Ozzy was awesome, and Geezer and whoever they got drumming for them was sick. I don't know.
That's awesome.
But
and I saw you went to Dropkick Murphys the other night.
Yes, my man Cullen on Faction. He popped my Dropkick Murphys cherry last night. That was really cool.
They're definitely a band you need to see at least once.
Yeah.
And then once you've seen them once, you can go, I get the gist of a Dropkick Murphys show. I really, unless it's at Warped Tour, I really don't need to go there again.
I remember the first time I saw Dropkick, I was like, yeah, it was awesome. It was 4 guys, and they were just playing, just straight Boston, like, punk rock. And I saw them, like, 6 years later at Warped Tour, and there was 15 guys on stage, 2 guys holding a giant Irish flag, and I was like, what happened? Like, this is just crazy now.
They made a whole thing out of it.
Yeah, it became like a caravan.
It was
like, what
sick.
is this?
They were saying, you know what, if the Boss Tones are going to get away with that shit where the guy's just dancing and he's considered a band member, we're going tenfold on this.
Yeah, we
like
got Slipknot. Yeah.
They got 100 members, and it's like only 4 of them actually kind of do anything. So
I play the 55-gallon drum. Dunk, dunk.
Actually, Randy from Neck of Toys is one of our guests today. We didn't even get to the guests. We're so poorly organized.
We're just going right into it, Eric.
Our buddy Randy Falk from Neck of Toys is back on the show. Randy pops his head in every now and then when there's new stuff going on and cool stuff going on. Randy is a big metalhead, and he goes to a lot of shows, or I used to go to a lot of shows. I don't know where you're at nowadays.
As many as I can.
Wait a minute, hang on. There you go.
There we go.
As many as I can get away with. Got a couple Rugrats at home that, have cut me back a little, but I'm out there when I can.
Stop staring at your kids. Ozzy's in town.
There's better things to do.
The night they played the Garden, I went to the Anthrax record release party instead. And that record is the best metal record in a very long time.
For All Kings.
Yes.
Out now.
I give it a huge thumbs up and recommendation. It is tremendous. New York's very own Anthrax. Best thrash metal album in 20-some-odd years.
I'm writing that down.
Sean, so not just the toys, but Randy has some history with that coveted radio station, WSOU.
Oh, bro, Seton Hall's Pirate Radio. Yeah, I was raised on.
For the rest of the world, for the rest of the world, if you liked heavy metal or if you went to that school, that station, it became your life and still has not let go. Even though people have matured into their 40s and 50s, it still has that grasp on them that they're all about this radio station. And it's still one of the few stations that in New York that's actually playing anything related to rock and roll music.
Of course. It is one of the few metal stations, and I love that I can never get it unless I'm on like the LIE or the BQE or like
stick your hands out.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I remember, like growing up on Long Island, like driving towards the city. As soon as you hit like Nassau, Queens, and you're like, oh yeah, now we're getting it. We're getting some good channels
I'll still
here.
listen to it when it's like. It's like I think I know what this song is.
Yeah, it's like some grunge.
I like that E-Rock's outnumbered my metalheads in this room.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to outnumber you by toys in a little bit, so it'll be fine.
That's true.
So to bring everybody on speed here, as far as on speed, up to speed.
Whatever.
Jesus
I'm sure there's
Christ,
someone on speed.
For what we're doing on the show today, Randy from Neck of Toys is here. We've got some new stuff to talk about. Later in the program, Louis Anderson is going to be here for his show Baskets on FX. If you have not seen this show, you're really missing out. Zach Galifianakis, and it's his vehicle, but Louis really kind of steals the show, playing Mrs. Baskets, his mom.
Well, I tweeted Louis and I said, I love you in Baskets, and he followed me right away. It was great.
Roland is so going to hate you.
I know. Me too. Yeah. I didn't tweet at him. I was like, man, just because I'm on Eric's show, Louis following me.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So you don't know this story, Randy, but Paul on the Opie and Jimmy show, who works with us, was really into Baskets before it even came out. We got the advanced screeners. He went through the booklet that comes with it and watched all the episodes and loves this show. Started tweeting Louis Anderson, and all of a sudden Louis Anderson responded and then followed him back. So he was bragging to our talent booker, Roland, that, hey, look who's friends with me, Louis Anderson. So Roland decided he's going to be friends with Louis Anderson, too, and send some stuff out on Twitter. Got no follow. And then all of a sudden, Matt got a follow. Now Giddles has a follow. Yep. Other people have gotten follows except for Roland. And we don't know why.
Should I tweet Louis right now and see if he'll follow me?
I guarantee you.
He'll follow you right back.
Say you're on the show right now. You can't wait to hear the Louis Anderson interview. And that goes for everybody in North America that's listening right now. At Louis Anderson, if you tweet, I can't wait to hear this interview later, he will follow you.
Yep.
And you'll get a celebrity follow.
Dude, he's the best.
Then after that, later in the program, we're going to speak to Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who's in the brand new Cloverfield sequel. I don't know how they're phrasing it, but it's a continuation within the franchise for 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Oh my God. Don't say anything.
Okay, Butcha, earmuffs. She's the girl in the movie. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler, man.
I just bought my tickets today to go see it tomorrow night.
I seriously was debating last night because the morning show wasn't on today, and I didn't have to come in till later. And I was like, you know what? I think I might go. I never go to a midnight showing, but I was thinking about it. I was like, I think I might want to go. And I just kept looking at Fandango on my phone, and it said tickets are available. And I was like, I just couldn't pull the trigger, and I just wound up watching think Nikki Glazer's new show.
Okay.
Which is really good. Not Safe with Nikki Glazer. And I think I also caught up on The People vs. O.J. Simpson. Not the best alternative to Cloverfield, but it was what was on the DVR.
Were you afraid that your Fandango experience with Star Wars was going to repeat itself for Cloverfield?
Oh my God, I still have the passes.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I got to go find them.
You got to get
you know
those,
what? They don't work for like the first 3 weeks of a movie opening.
That's not fair.
So again, it does me no good. Goddamn Fandango.
Wah, wah.
They got bought by NBC. Universal bought them out.
Cool.
Them and Flickster. I'm just throwing random information because I'm panicking.
Are you liking People vs. OJ?
Yes.
I think it's the best show, aside from Better Call Saul, I think it's the best show on television.
Once they got past the gratuitous Kardashian plugging,
yeah. I think
for no reason.
They were chomping at the bit a little bit with that.
It's gotten really good because now it's focusing more on Marsha Clark's side of it, which you weren't seeing too much. I forgot about the nude photo that her husband sold to the rags. I forgot about her husband being such a dick in public. And then they start throwing other stuff in there, like one of the prosecutors had a heart attack or an anxiety attack right before court was about to go in session, which didn't happen. Because I was like, I watched a fair amount of that trial when it was going on. I don't remember that, and I looked up, and it was just added in for, entertainment.
Of course.
And, I'm really loving OJ's now getting pissed and yelling at everybody. And you don't even see control of it. You don't even see much of OJ in the
It's a lot of Johnny
episodes.
Cochran. He's a pimp.
Yeah.
He is kicking ass on that show.
Look at Lewis, of course. He's getting excited.
Johnny Cochran is a monster in that show.
He is a pimp.
When I die and I go to heaven, if I have trouble getting in, he better meet me at the gates.
Now, he's not the Seinfeld character, right?
Right.
Okay, just making sure. So, yes, where we are at the story, I think they just were uncovering that he had a domestic abuse incident in the past.
He looked pretty pissed about that.
And he was in his office, and he wound up calling his ex-wife.
Gave her the property or something.
Which was millions of dollars he did not want to hand over, but this trial was too important, and that's where it ended this week's episode. So I think there's 4 more left. I think it's a 10-part series. So we just watched 6.
So does the show take place, does it start just with the trial, or does it have, everything before the trial, would it actually happen?
It starts with him in a wheelchair going down the stairs at a ballpark in the Naked Gun.
And then he flies
and then
over.
just randomly jumps to this horrific death.
Aww.
It's like, I think somebody screwed up in the editing on that one.
It started really funny and ended in murder.
Yeah.
It really had a twist in the middle.
Yeah. It's like, how did we get from there to there? That was the whole plot.
Oh.
You figure out how the deaths happened. No, it started with, somebody was just walking their dog down the street, and the dog was going crazy, and the dog wouldn't calm down, and the guy goes to investigate and sees the blood, and then follows the blood to see the bodies, and that's where the whole thing goes.
Okay.
That's when it gets sexy.
Whoa.
Wow.
It's a great
People
show, though.
died. Loved ones.
Yeah, well, you read the book, If I Did It, and they just made it, I Did It.
Right.
Yeah, it's classic.
Classic. But, so that's what I was watching. I still want to go out and see Cloverfield. I'm debating, should I go tonight? Maybe I'll go tomorrow. I've really grown accustomed to doing day movies now. I'm getting tired of going to movies at night when everyone else is there.
Well, it's probably
just
pretty
a
packed,
hassle.
too. Tonight, opening weekend, it might be a little crazy.
Yeah.
It's
I
also
think maybe
60 degrees out, so it might be people just drinking too.
I'll go at the creepy time when it's 11 a.m. and they're all going to see Zootopia.
Ugh.
And I go walking over to Cloverfield, or maybe I go to see Zootopia. Who knows? Roland and I did that one time years ago. We finished the show early. And we really wanted to. This sounds so bad. Mm-hmm. We really wanted to see the new Harry Potter movie that was coming out.
My God! Eric. So
we walked over to the Ziegfeld Theater. It was 11 o'clock in the morning, and it was just packed with parents and kids. And there's Roland and I. It's sort of in the back, and everyone just keeps looking at us. And then they were looking at us later because Roland fell asleep throughout the movie and was snoring.
Not surprising.
But that's what we do.
Do you remember just sneaking into movies back in the day when they'd rip your one ticket and you go through and then just hide and just sneak zigzag into movies at Patchogue movie theater?
It was definitely a skill. I think I told the story on here once about going to see Dances with Wolves.
I don't know.
No?
Maybe.
In 7th or 8th grade, that movie came out, and schools thought it was of such importance that they arranged field trips for social studies classes to go and see Dances with Wolves. God-awful movie. It's 3 hours. It's really just goes on and on and on.
It's got a great theme song.
And That's Hungry Like the Wolf, not Dancing with Wolves. So I go to see the movie with the rest of my class, and I noticed a couple of the guys in my class went to the bathroom or skipped out, and they went to go see Total Recall.
Awesome.
In the theater next to it. And I'm watching the movie. I'm like, they're going to get in trouble. And I'm sitting there about 20 minutes into this. I'm like, shit, I wish I went and saw Total Recall. But you can't, because now you have parents and the teacher was there walking up and down the aisles, making sure everybody's there and there's nothing going on. And I was like, but they were done. That movie was only like an hour and a half.
I was going to say, you're going to
for
see
another
it
an hour and a
twice.
half, they're playing video games. Maybe they skipped into something else. And I was like, damn it, that's what I should have done.
What if you actually had to get up and piss?
You know what? I don't remember.
Use your extra large soda cup.
Cup. Just angle this way and hope nobody hears it hitting the concrete.
Floors are sticky enough as it is.
You know, yeah, there's that. Those carpets are so oversaturated anyway. It's like walking on damp sponges.
Ugh, that's so gross.
I don't know if I ever snuck into another movie. Yeah, I guess sometimes if you had time to kill, if it was like if you went on a Saturday when you were younger and your parents dropped you off for the movies and they said, "Oh no, I've got stuff to do. You got to figure out what you're going to do after the movie." I guess you would sneak into another movie or something like that.
Well, I went when I saw The Revenant like about a month ago. I was
You snuck into The Revenant?
No, I didn't sneak into The Revenant, but I was sitting there. And
you're of age, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they saw my beard and they're like, "Well, free ticket for you." And then about 20 minutes left in the movie, this family comes in with like little kids, and I think they were just killing time until the next movie. And they sat down, and then there was an axe swing, and then fingers flying through the air, and they just got up as fast as they could and walked out of the theater.
Awesome.
It was pretty great.
Say they ruined the movie for you. I'm glad the movie
They like
ruined
walked
it
in
for
and
them.
sat down, and they were just like, "Oh my god, we got to get the fuck out of here," because it was just brutal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I have a copy at home, so I'm going to go check that out.
Oh, you didn't see it yet? It's phenomenal.
No, I have a bunch of stuff that this is what drives me nuts. I have a bunch of things that are piled up at home that I want to do, and I want to make time to do it. And then when I have the time, I'm too tired, so I just don't do it because I'm here all the time doing stuff. I have a stack of video games that I want to play, and I have yet to open those up. I have a whole bunch of movies that I have yet to watch, and I try to make time, but we have so many interviews coming in. I got to watch everything for the guests coming in. Like for Randy here, I had to play with a bunch of toys yesterday just to get the feel of how I'm going to conduct
Like
this
Tom
interview
Hanks
today.
in Big.
Right. I had to whip out my portal gun, and I had to whip out my skyhook from BioShock Infinite, and I was like, I got to make this work for tomorrow.
Eric, you would have done that anyway.
True, but I'm trying to associate it to work.
Yeah.
Because if you justify it as work, nobody can give you
I
shit
kind
for
of want
it.
the Skyline
Skyhook.
Yeah, the Skyhook now that you said that.
I don't think they make it anymore, right? It's out of production.
Yeah, it's out of production. I have to go digging in the warehouse to try to find. But I did bring you some Portal stuff.
Woo!
Couple
Portal.
from the
Giddles,
archive.
for Christmas, we got him an Xbox 360 so he could get back into gaming. And we gave him the Portals, we gave him BioShock Infinite.
Nice.
And he's now just getting into this, and you've been having a good time with him, right?
Yeah, I just beat BioShock Infinite last week.
Cool.
Really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah,
The Portal
it's good.
games I beat in like 2 days because I just couldn't stop playing them because I like
They're
puzzle
addictive.
games, and I was just like, all right, flying through this. And I was like, oh, now I'm done.
There's a
Boo.
new Portal that they're testing out for virtual reality.
Yeah.
What's the system called?
I think they were testing it on the Samsung Vive or whatever the Vive thing was.
Okay.
But
VR tech.
the VR,
Oh.
yeah, but it's like
Hey,
VR
Matt
tech.
OG's here. Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Nice of you to join us.
Oh, you know, that lovely traffic in
Yes.
Secaucus and New Jersey and the city and the train and everywhere else I could have hit it tonight.
Oh.
But you were saying...
Oh yeah, no, but they have the Portal with the VR goggles, and it's you're inside the game, and you're moving your hand, you're moving the portal gun and everything, and it's kind of like how there was a company, I guess, that's been doing the track pads with Fallout, where you can like walk and it's like a treadmill, so you're actually walking through the wasteland. And I guess it's a similar thing like that, and maybe they'll just keep going in that direction until video games blur the line of reality.
There's a video out, and I'll throw
Like
it
I'm
up.
on a VR goggle system right now. Like none of this is real.
Oh, no.
You're in the Matrix?
Yeah.
Remember that South Park episode?
With
with-
Cartman with Butters?
Yeah, where they kept taking the goggles off and like, no, this is reality, and then all of a sudden they're back at the desk again. It's like, when does this stop?
Yeah.
I'll put the video up on the It's Erik Nagel account, but there's a YouTube demonstration for the virtual reality Portal game, which was amazing. Now, people are saying, is this going to be Portal 3? Because Steam had kind of, Valve had said that they were not really looking to do more. They're not into sequels, which I think is bullshit.
They made 2 of them already.
Well, they have. Hold on, they have this virtual reality thing, and everyone's like, "Oh, is this going to be number 3? I can't wait to try it out." But I want to tell you, until that becomes available and affordable for people, Lego Dimensions has a Portal interface for the game system where you build the figure and they open up a whole world of Portal, which is kind of like Portal 3, where you can use any of the characters. You can have Homer Simpson and Krusty the Clown and Batman and everybody going through there doing the Portal missions, with GLaDOS freaking out like, where the hell did you come from? How did you do that superpower? You're not allowed to do that. Like, she's going batshit crazy, and it's a lot of fun.
That sounds awesome.
So if you're really into Portal and need that fix, you might want to invest in Lego Dimensions until the virtual reality thing comes out.
All right, I'm going to do that. Totally down.
And then look for a skyhook for Giddles if you could. Because he will go out into Brooklyn and try to work it out.
Well, there's like a used toy store around the corner, and they have 2 Portal guns there, and I kind of want to get them, but they're $250 each. So I cannot get a Portal gun.
I don't think that was the retail price, was it?
No, it was like $150, I think.
I think there might be a markup.
Yeah, there was.
We'll dig through the warehouse and see.
How are you, Matt?
Oh, lovely, thank you.
How you been?
I'm all right. Really, I hit every possible snag that I could have hit trying to get in here tonight. The traffic on Route 3 was miserable, and then the train just stopped randomly in the middle of the tunnel. I should have been here probably about 15 minutes ago if it wasn't for that.
Oh, man.
But other than that, I'm just peachy keen jelly bean, thank you.
Well, good. It's about time you had a decent week after, your sump pump debacle.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I still get messages about that. People like, I love the sump pump story. I said, why? Oh, Matt was miserable. That's why they enjoyed it. Okay, I got it.
I'm glad people appreciate Schadenfreude.
You're very bankable. Try to ruin your life more.
All right, I will make that a goal this weekend to try to ruin my life as much as humanly possible.
Do it for the show, Matt.
I will.
Take one for the team.
All right, done.
So we said the guests. Randy's here. Do you want to get into the toys first, or do you want to talk about some other things in the news going on?
Whatever you want to talk about.
I want to bring up a couple of things, if we can. One, because this happened a couple hours before the show started. The Supreme Court. Did you hear about their new ruling?
What?
Which one?
I haven't heard anything.
There are several in the last couple days.
No, the one that happened a few hours ago. They took away the tax exemption status from Scientology.
Oh, yeah. That hurt, yeah.
They're not recognizing it as a religion.
That's correct.
So it can still operate as a business, but it can't get religious tax exempt.
Right.
So it also, with that being their decision now and law, they don't have the protection of other religious rights. If the government's not going to acknowledge it, then they're not going to have, if anything else comes up with, they do some messed up stuff, and if somebody sues them or whatever, they can't hide behind, we're just like Catholicism or anything anymore. So you can be held responsible. How is this going to work out? Because those people are batshit crazy.
Well, they'll try to appeal. I mean, they did this once before. The IRS brought them up once before, and I think they temporarily lost their status and then regained it. But they'll appeal, and hopefully they don't win. We're now the second or third country around the world to do this to Scientology. I think the Netherlands did it already, and someplace else.
And some countries it's illegal for them to exist. Like I know, at least in Germany, they're not allowed to exist there. But if the Supreme Court ruled on this, can they still appeal? Yeah. Like I thought once the Supreme Court rules on it, that's the end-all be-all.
No, I think they still have the right to appeal.
Yeah, you can probably still appeal, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So if the appeal goes down, then it's case closed.
I think, once the appeal gets rejected, assuming it gets rejected, I think that's it. I think they'll have to do something to try to reprove their status or some nonsense. So we won't be getting Battlefield Earth 2 anytime soon.
Oh. Boo.
Darn.
They're just going to reboot it.
That's it.
So that Disney can't get it.
That's it.
Okay. I see what they're doing. So that was that came up on across all the news sites, and I thought that was pretty interesting. Then, of course, I see everyone else saying, "Did you see the new Captain America Civil War trailer?"
I did, and I spent a good portion of my afternoon yesterday battling with morons on the internet.
Oh, I thought you meant like LARPing.
No.
Trying on his underoos.
I still have them. They fit.
Who felt the need to just poke and prod at me over that? I didn't even seek to fight anybody on it, but some people felt the need to do it. So,
if anyone has not seen the trailer, what could be, what is, I guess, the third Captain America movie, Captain America Civil War, obviously based on the graphic novel story, comic book story. The big deal is that they have the rights to use Superman. Now,
Spider-Man.
Sorry. Shit. Holy crap.
I was like, whoa, that's some crazy shit you just dropped
That
there.
would be a
Marvel
really
vs.
different
DC,
story.
here we go.
Wow.
I'm watching too many fan fiction videos. They have the right to use Spider-Man. I apologize. For those who don't know, the movie rights to Spider-Man are owned by Sony. Even though Marvel owns the property, the movie license is with Sony right now. And I saw that they're going to try to do another Spider-Man.
Not try. They are.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the same character that's in the Civil War trailer.
So they're going to use that kid as Spider-Man and forget about Andrew
that was
Garfield.
the deal. Disney gets to use Spider-Man in the MCU when they want to, but Sony has the rights to do their own solo movies, but it's the same character.
Okay, so they can't change Spider-Man as far as the person who's playing Peter Parker. They can't change him if Disney's using it.
No, and why would they want to? It's going to be the same. I don't know how much bleed you'll have between the two, but it's the same character. So theoretically, anything that happens in Civil War could affect what happens in the Sony Spider-Man film.
So the big deal was that Spider-Man shows up at the end of the trailer.
Correct.
Now, 2 questions. One, doesn't it seem a waste to show him in the trailer?
And I'll tell you why no. A lot of people said this.
You don't
lot
agree?
of people said this.
The trailer now has become the full movie for everything. Batman, Superman, the new Captain America, like everything is like we have to show you everything so you will come see this movie.
But here's the problem, right? For us in this room, or at least for a handful of us in this room, depending on, I guess, how much you spend on the internet, you know that Spider-Man was coming to this movie.
Yeah.
You've known for months.
Yeah.
When that trailer dropped yesterday in my regular job where I sit in an office and people know that I'm the fucking geek du jour over there, people came to my office and they were like, oh my God, did you know Spider-Man was going to be in this movie? There's tons of people that don't know. And so Marvel
They're
has
called
to
regular
capitalize.
folks.
Yeah. Marvel has to capitalize on the fact that there are people that don't know, and that's a big draw for the movie. Now, that being said, I would have preferred personally to just see maybe him grab the shield, but not actually see him.
Just like the web come down, grab the shield, and that's
That would have been cool.
But there are some people that are really still too stupid that would have been like, what's that webbing? Oh, it's Spider-Man. You have to fucking put it in their face for people who don't know.
Loki's web.
Yeah, so, I mean... So I get why Marvel had to do it. I was fine with it, though. He got one little line. It was cool.
It looks good, and he looks like the old school, like, 70s
Yeah, it's like a cross between Ditko and Ross.
It looks
like
really cartoony.
It's a little Ramita, like I thought. I like it. I like it better than the previous.
And the blinking eyes, fantastic addition. Yeah. I'm so glad
you like
they did
this
that.
version of Spider-Man that they're using?
Well, I mean, based on what I've seen in the 3 seconds that he was on the screen, yes, he looks cool.
Make your final judgment for the rest of your life.
He looks cool. That's what I will say. I think the costume looks great. I'm okay with it being a young Peter Parker.
That's fine. My thought
I'm okay with it.
is, why are they putting him in the trailer? Because, like we said,
I
for
just answered
people,
that question.
that, yeah.
No. I don't think. A lot of trailers are doing this. They're putting stuff that doesn't need to be in there. Batman vs. Superman. They put in Wonder Woman. Then you see Apocalypse.
Yeah.
The only one you haven't seen, unless there was another trailer that I missed, is Aquaman. But you know he's going to be in the movie. He just hasn't
You have
been
not
shown
seen
yet.
Aquaman.
They put too much into this, so I'm like, why does he need to be there? For the people who know the comic books and knew the story with Sony and everything going on, like Matt said, Spider-Man's going to be there. I don't think you needed to have him in the trailer because that was even more of a push to go and see the movie as soon as you can because you wanted to see what Spider-Man looked like and how he was going to be part of everything.
You're thinking of it the wrong way. You've got to be thinking of it as Marvel and Disney sitting in a room and saying, how do I guarantee that ticket sales for this movie not only beat Batman versus Superman, because that conversation is going on. And I'm not saying that it should or will, so don't anybody jump on my ass about that. I had to deal with that yesterday too. But that's what they're thinking. And they're thinking there are people that don't know Spider-Man is going to be in this movie. And the only way to confirm that Spider-Man is going to be in this movie is to put him in the trailer. You can't think about how you're looking at it. You have to think about everybody else, the regular Joe that doesn't know.
You know what Matt just did to me? He just poked me on the head and said, I am not thinking fourth dimensionally.
You're not, Eric.
No.
I don't know. See, I think like the reveal of Wonder Woman in the Batman vs. Superman thing was more of a spoiler to me than like Spider-Man was in the Civil War trailer.
Honestly,
I felt like if they would have waited with Wonder Woman till that scene in the movie, people would have been like, "Oh fuck yeah, Wonder Woman," as opposed to just seeing and be like, "Oh, I guess Wonder Woman saves the day."
Wonder Woman.
Honestly, I don't have a problem.
I know, but if you're in the moment and you're a fan of the
They showed
DC or something like that,
Doomsday. They showed like everybody.
they shouldn't have.
All right,
That's the point.
Yeah.
So the difference is Wonder Woman being in that trailer probably wasn't an issue. Maybe what they showed was the issue. If they had just shown Wonder Woman, who cares? Again, a lot of people didn't know Wonder Woman was going to be in that movie. That's a big draw. Wonder Woman has not been on the big screen live action form since ever.
She was like spinning.
Yeah. So
you got to go back to Linda Carter on network TV in the late 70s.
Let's not.
She was a pretty good Wonder Woman.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, but the show was horrible. Just look at the stills online.
For what it was back then, I thought it was all right.
Wonder Woman.
I watched Wonder Woman and The Incredible Hulk. I'm not
Of course
gonna
you
lie.
did, because you didn't have anything else.
The old Spider-Man, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I still go back and watch the 67 cartoon.
They have the whole DVD set.
So do I.
But, so the new trailer's out. I just don't think they needed to show
some other great stuff in that
Spider-Man.
trailer.
I'm guessing, you know what? I guess I'm not thinking of a bigger picture, like you said, but I don't know. It just seemed like you knew he was going to be part of it. There was a lot of buzz, even mainstream buzz. People knew this thing going on with Sony. I think because of that hacking they had is what worked the deal for them to get that out with Disney. I'm getting so mad that they keep showing too much in the trailers, because by the time you go to the movie, like, that was in the trailer. Yeah. That was in the trailer.
I think the only thing in that trailer that was a huge reveal was Spider-Man's costume. And again, to people who didn't know that Spider-Man was going to be it, but none of the other footage they showed was. There was some cool stuff in there. Ant-Man riding the arrow was a great shot.
They overall, though, I agree with Eric that everything, with the exception of Star Wars, everything shows too much.
Oh, yeah.
There was
why was Star Wars in the Captain America trailer? That's just another spoiler.
Like, he held back. No one saw Luke.
Yeah.
No one saw Leia, whether they wanted to or not. But, you know what I'm saying? You didn't see Luke until the last second of the movie. Wasn't in any pictures, any merchandise,
because J.J. Abrams is a goddamn genius. That's why.
I mean, Cloverfield's another one.
Yes,
like, no one even knew that movie was happening.
Phenomenal.
So, like, that's,
he's like Beyonce.
They do give away too much. Aside from Spider-Man, you see glimpses of, like, the big action sequences, like two teams running towards each other, and you see him on the arrow. Those are like the money shots. Save them. Like, we're going to go see it anyway. Save them. I hate all this stuff being spoiled.
I heard this what happened with Deadpool. I mean, I didn't see Deadpool, but my friend who was all about it was like, everything cool that you saw was already in the trailer.
That is definitely not true.
That is definitely not true.
There's so much that they can't show because
you
it's
have
such a
horrible
hard
friends.
R.
And
go see it. It's awesome. Deadpool is fantastic.
I'll wait for the bootleg.
Yeah, Deadpool was really good.
I'll pick it up at the laundry.
Pay for the stuff that you like.
My problem with the Civil War trailer is I just felt like every time I watch a new trailer now, and I was talking to Eric about this on the phone, I feel like I've just reached peak superhero at this point, where every single trailer looks like the same exact movie to me.
Well, this one's
they all look the same. It's like, we're going to have this trailer, and then everyone's going to run, and then they're going to jump and fly at each other in slow motion as they're all fighting in midair, and then we're going to, I don't know, it's all the same.
This one's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, because generally speaking, the thing I like about the Marvel movies is that even though they're all superhero, they're all different genre of movies.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion. Like Cap 2 especially, that wasn't like a traditional action movie. That was kind of like an espionage spy movie,
totally.
Right? And that's what made it stand out really good. How this fits into that kind of feel, I don't know. Iron Man was a bit more traditional action. Guardians was like, a bit more comedic action.
And sci-fi.
Yeah. So they're all superhero movies, but they all hit on different genres or subgenres, I guess. And that's why I think they work really well. But again, I can't make a decision about Civil War until May.
Yeah, that's true.
You just would look like an ass if you did. Let's go to John in Philly. John, how are you, man?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Doing a show.
Yeah, so I was happy about Spider-Man being in the trailer. I know he's been, talked about forever. It was nice to kind of see what costume they went with, even though, yes, it does look a little cartoony, but it's just nice to see him there.
Okay.
I also,
if that makes any sense.
And a lot of people made the cartoony comment, and I think it's hard to really judge based on that one shot, because if you look at the high-res shots that they released of him after, he looks pretty good. And, Tom Holland actually is in the suit, at least for part of it. So I'm sure part of that sequence with him flipping around with the shield, that part is a bit of CGI. But, I think it's hard to judge overall. But yeah, I mean, you could say he looked a little cartoony.
But any worse than like the Hulk, for example? No. So, I mean,
Marvel hasn't really done anything bad yet at all. And they're the ones who, cast this new Spider-Man. I have nothing but high hopes for what this is going to be because they haven't shown us a failure yet, and I don't see it anytime in the future.
I agree, 100%.
Yep.
In other news, I wanted to say again, thank you for sending out the Lost DVD. Now my wife and I are moving to Hawaii.
Oh, this is this guy.
Okay. Hope your plane winds up in the same position as Lost.
Jesus, Eric.
Wow.
Wow, that's just brutal.
If you see a Dharma shark, take a photo.
Yeah, if you're out on North Beach, take photos and show us what you got there.
Yeah. Have a great day.
Yeah, how do you come back from that?
Well, after you wished him dead, essentially.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, have a good day to you, too.
John's a good guy.
What about Black Panther in the trailer? Like in that chase scene?
He looks cool.
He looked pretty cool.
I mean, the costume looks cool, but we've seen the costume already.
Yeah.
So, it's some of those things are just hard to judge. It was, he looks cool. I'm excited to see his character in the trailer. It's a character I always thought was kind of cool. So, it's great to see him included.
I just thought it was cool because I'm not as well versed with the comics as you are, so I don't really know what his powers are. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. He actually is like a panther. Like he's pretty fast.
He's a sex machine to all the chicks.
I have no idea what a lot of these superheroes do.
I'm thinking of Shaft.
Well, that's good for you, though. That means you can go in and just appreciate it for what it is. You have nothing to compare it to, and that's probably refreshing in some regard.
And that's the area that Marvel succeeded at better than anyone else, is that all of the movies work for people that know, like, the amount or less.
Yeah.
Like, you can be the general Joe Schmo, goes in off the street and has no idea what Guardians is, had never seen a Guardians comic, and still enjoy the hell out of the movie. That is the achievement that they can do better than anyone else so far.
And what Marvel has been able to do really well, I'm going to use my wife as an example. She had no idea. She's not a comic book person. No idea what Guardians was, right? Absolutely loved Guardians. Like, watched it 100 times. And has now since gone out and picked up a bunch of trades.
That's awesome.
She's picked up like the Scotty Young Rocket Raccoon series. Nice. She's picked up some of the old Guardian stuff, like Yondu and like all that stuff.
That's fantastic.
And she's kind of digging it. And it's great that they can capture that for some people. I know people who went back and read Iron Man. I know people who read Civil War who had never read it before in anticipation for this. So it's nice that they have that going on. Absolutely. I hope DC does it too. It'd be,
I was surprised Batista kicked so much ass in that movie.
Yeah,
who would have known Batista was a good actor?
He was good. Well, he was mostly emotionless, but it worked.
It was good.
It worked.
It worked for Batista.
I think Vin Diesel was the best.
That's what you need right there.
Well, go out and see Captain America. That comes out Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
No, I think earlier.
I think it's like
the
May
first weekend of May.
May
I thought it was
5th
like the
or 6th
15th
or something. I don't know. It's in May. It's before Memorial Day. I know that.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely be there. I'm sure all of America will, to see the brand new Spider-Man and everything else going on with that. The other movie trailer that came out this week was the international cut for the new Ghostbusters.
Yep.
And
it didn't change my opinion one way or the other. I still feel the exact same way I felt after the first trailer, which is I just don't think I'm going to like it.
Right. In fact, if anything, I think it made it look worse.
I agree with Eric. Yeah, I felt a little worse.
Apparently, a lot of people felt like how we did, and I'm not like hating or bashing all the people involved with the movie, but of course, the internet takes it 9 steps too far.
Wow.
That Paul Feig and Leslie Jones from Saturday Night Live had to respond publicly on Twitter saying, "Shut up, leave my cast alone. Yeah. You'll enjoy what we're doing." And then she says, "I'm just being a regular person and every day," and everyone's yelling at her, calling her a racial stereotype.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on. Is this going to translate to everybody seeing Ghostbusters when it opens? Because every time they put something out, the hate just seems to flame up more and more.
The truth is, I think it's probably going to end up doing very well.
Yeah,
I think for its actual target audience, it's probably going to do pretty well. And for the fans of the original franchise, it's probably not going to be well received. But the studio's not going to care. If it does well and they make their money, they'll just move on with the franchise and they'll put out another one and another one after that.
Oh boy.
That's the truth of it.
Now, if it tanks, I was thinking about this. If it tanks, do they take a shot at redoing Ghostbusters again with a male cast?
No. Well, that might still be happening, though, in the works on the side.
Right, the Channing Tatum thing, right?
Yeah. And that Ghostbusters universe. There's also that Ghostbusters animated movie that they announced last week, too, that's coming out. So, Dan Aykroyd is calling it something. I think it's not Ghostbusters universe. It's something.
University.
No, I don't think it's but he's referring to all of these things taking place as one universe, even though they're not. But it's going to be what it is. I'm just going to watch the original and enjoy it.
I think it's probably going to make a lot of money, like Matt said. I think it's going to hit its target audience, but there's going to be the people who like the original who are going to be like, meh.
And again, I have nothing against any of those actresses. I actually think they're all really funny. I just don't think that movie is the right way to go.
Yeah, the tone I don't have a problem with them either.
And it seems silly and campy, and I don't want a silly and a campy Ghostbusters movie.
All right. Sean?
I didn't give much of a crap about it. I haven't seen the newer one that came out. I saw the original one that they put out, and I was like, I'm just not interested at all. I like the original Ghostbusters. I'm not going to go waste my money and contribute to them making tons and tons of cash, which they're absolutely going to, because every commercial I see on TV, I was like, how is anyone going to see this movie? And miraculously, it makes millions of dollars.
And I'm sure the merch will probably do decent. I don't think it'll do great, but it'll do decent.
Yeah.
And, I think probably generally speaking, they'll be pleased with the outcome.
Randy, is NECA going to do anything involving the new Ghostbusters?
We are not.
Okay.
Womp womp.
Good decision.
Yeah. We are for Civil War, however.
Ooh. Anything you can preview?
A new Captain America in the new Civil War costume.
Nice.
And the Spidey rights are still kind of complicated because of this whole sharing of, Sony and Marvel. We may have to do classic comic Spidey rather than how he looks in Civil War.
I thought Sony didn't have the merchandising. I thought Disney still had that.
No, I don't know all the deals of that contract. Randy would know better than we would.
I can't. We got a team of lawyers who have to make sense out of this stuff. They just tell me what I can and can't do. So we will do a Spider-Man. It's a question of, can it be branded Civil War, or do we have to do it like a classic Romita or Ditko, which is fine. Those are awesome.
I was going to say those are awesome too.
Yeah, I think in a way they might be better. So,
I think the Andrew Garfield property might be available.
Yeah,
and you can try your luck with that.
Fox.
There you go.
I'm all good on that.
Boo.
Let's go to Sean in Texas. Sean, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I got a PA, but other than that, I'm all right. I was just curious about your guys' opinion on Ant-Man being in the new Captain America movie.
Is there a reason why he shouldn't be in the new Captain America? Is there something that I'm missing?
I don't know. It's just so small.
Is he in the...
Okay. So, all right.
That's the best answer I
get. All right, that is the best answer ever. I don't even know that we should address this any further. We're going to leave it at that.
Is he part of the comic books? Is he in that story?
Yeah, he's like an important part of the Avengers. I mean, Hank Pym is, but even Scott Lang, when he is, Ant-Man is a part of the Avengers. He always has been.
Okay.
So, he belongs there.
Well, I think this is going back to what Matt said of it's just like all different kinds of movies and how they're all going to blend into one. And I think that's what it's going to be.
And I thought Ant-Man was great,
cool.
by the way.
Another one that's like
great movie.
Such a weird hero to make a movie out of anyway. Like obscure and kind of goofy. Like, he gets real small. Like, who wants to see that? But the movie was awesome. Paul Rudd was great and is likable to so many people. Men, women, kids. Ant-Man just played really well. Again, it's Marvel kicking butt.
And they set up a nice little tie-in to the rest of the Avengers by having Falcon in the movie and that whole sequence. So, I mean, I think he's a natural fit. And, regarding his size, wait and see the movie.
He is small.
Wait and see the movie.
What about the Hulk? He's so green.
Yeah, he's very green.
Okay, Sean?
That sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, no problem, man. Take care. Let's go
Never heard anybody criticize Ant-Man for being small before. So that's the first.
That name is right on point, and I don't like it. Too accurate. Let's go to, Dutch in Pittsburgh. How are you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing all right.
So you're talking about Civil War. Have you heard about the graphic audio play for Civil War?
No.
Oh, my God. You got to check it out. It's great. They do a whole line of Marvel and DC comics that they turn into pretty much radio plays. Full cast, full sound effects.
Take Flip Road on right.
Is that Optimus Prime?
Are you in Knight Rider?
Yes.
Freedom is the choice of all sentient beings.
That's just my GPS. He has a British accent. I call him out.
Ooh, fancy.
Look, I'm okay with radio dramas. I like the Star Wars radio dramas, as hokey as they were. They were great. I think I own them all on cassette. Nice. I don't know if did they release those on CD? I don't know. Probably there's digital downloads of them, I'm sure. But
yeah, you have to check out graphic audio. fantastic quality production.
0.6 miles.
Your sidekick is great.
Make a right now.
Can we just
Thank
talk
you,
to your
Jarvis.
GPS?
Is that Jarvis?
Yes, it's a Garmin.
All right. Well, there's apparently
I'll check it out.
theatrical audio versions of Civil War and everything that we need to check out. So maybe Audible's got them. I don't know.
I'll check it out.
We'll have to
Graphic
look for
audio.
that.
I hate to poop on the party, but I got to get the hell out of here.
All right.
I'm going to a show in Brooklyn tonight.
Oh, what are you going to say?
Big Destroyer. Yeah. Use the call to Williamsburg if you're out there. Say what up.
It's going to be really screamy.
Thank you for having me,
I think we have a big crossover audience with Pig Destroyer.
yeah, definitely.
So those on the way to the show, look for Butcha.
The flyer is actually the Incredible Hulk, so it kind of overlaps.
I don't think that's legal.
Yeah.
Look for that TM or that circled R. If it's not there, you better call the authorities.
Yeah.
All right, have fun,
Thank you,
man.
guys. Thank you, guys.
Give a plug. When's your regular shifts and stuff?
I mean, you could catch me every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We do Into the Trivia Pit on Liquid Metal, Channel 40. I produce that show. That's fun as hell. I mean, I do side work for Jason Ellis and all these other dudes, but I'm usually on the air Wednesday at 2 p.m., and you can hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at What's in the Box. You spell box B0X, because I have to make everything complicated.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
Or the right way to spell it was taken.
Yeah, it totally 100% was, and I was die hard on having that handle. I was like, I'll change it however I have to.
Is that a Seven reference? The What's in the Box?
Yes,
All right,
absolutely.
just making sure.
I needed a way to describe myself, and I figured what better way than a headless woman in a box.
What's in the box?
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure as always.
No
Anytime,
problem,
man.
Butcher. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the show.
Thank you.
Let's go to Brandon in San Diego. Brandon, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
We're doing good. We're going to be making our way out to San Diego this July for San Diego Comic-Con.
Indeed, Aruni. I'm excited. It's be my first time there in a long time. 6 years, I think.
Wow.
5-6 years since I've been there. Since I've been back.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, that's not why Brandon called to hear about our excitement. What's up with you, sir?
Well, I want to talk about what I originally called, but touch on this Civil War. I know it's a different name, but didn't Ant-Man kind of create Ultron ultimately in the comics? That was his guy, and it went bad. It wasn't Iron Man.
Yes, Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man, created Ultron in the comic books. That is correct.
So
but they adjusted it for the movies.
Yeah, but there is a reason why he is in the Marvel Universe or these movies, because, I mean, ultimately he is a big role of the Avengers.
Well,
he's probably one of the original members of Avengers.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hank Pym, if you saw Ant-Man, Hank Pym is in the first Ant-Man movie. He passes on the mantle to Scott Lang, which is kind of what happens in the books as well. So that's I mean, that was pretty true to it. They just decided to go with an older Hank Pym who worked with Howard Stark. So, yeah.
Well, and if you want to talk about DC, what Flash are we talking about? Wally, his uncle, grandfather, you know?
Wait, which Flash are we talking about for what? The upcoming film franchise? It's going to be Barry Allen.
No, I'm just saying when you can talk about that with Flash or Green Lantern.
Oh, of course.
Whatever,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, of course.
The upcoming movie is Barry Allen, isn't it?
Yes, the movie is going to be Barry Allen. That's correct.
Yeah, which I think is the right choice for that. So, but the reason I originally called was Dan Aykroyd recently, maybe 6 to 8 months ago, did an interview, and he basically said that he has the script for Ghostbusters 3. Not really solid, but it's there and it's in place and it can finish it. He just isn't touching it because of Harold and you know, is Bill going to be on board?
He's had that
to do it unless it was the original.
He's had that script for years.
I
trying to get this done.
I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again. I don't want a Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't want... They'll never be able to recapture what they had, and it's just going to end up looking like a poor representation of the... I don't want a Ghostbusters 3.
Not for nothing, they couldn't recapture it with 2.
Exactly.
Yeah, seriously.
2 is like crap compared to 1.
Saying.
Absolutely.
They should do a new Ghostbusters, man, if they're going to do it as a 2, but reboot it. You know, here's really what it should have been, because I agree with you. I lost interest a lot in the second movie. They didn't have a good plot, I would say. I mean, can't go wrong with the cast, but just wasn't there. It didn't touch on the like the first one did.
I'd even be okay with the passing of the torch if that's the angle that they would have gone. If the original...
Which a lot of people thought that this was going to be when they announced it.
If they were in it for just a little bit, long enough to pass it on, and then the movie focuses on a new team, that would have been okay too. But a traditional Ghostbusters 3 absolutely should not be made. Leave it alone.
I agree with you, and that's the other thing too. Is like this reboot with the women's version. I don't really think any of the original guys, even Dan, was on board originally. He's out there now saying, "Hey, he thinks it's a good thing, good idea." But I don't think he wanted it to be the woman at first, or like you said, maybe a handing of a torch, and they're not able to hand the torch off in this movie.
Let me tell you something. Dan Aykroyd, had a script for many years trying to get a Ghostbusters 3 and something re-going with that franchise. 2, he was on board with when the announcement came out that Paul Feig was going to do Ghostbusters and then it was going to be a woman cast. He was on board with that as well. He's on board with a lot of this just so that they keep it going. He gets money from creating the stuff. And the characters and any of the likeness and anything that they use in there, he gets money from that. So as long as they're doing something, it may not be creatively what he wanted to do with his script that he had written. As long as they're doing something, he's collecting a check on it, so he's not going to poo-poo it at all.
Oh, yeah. Well, how come no one ever talks about his wife? I wonder how many people know who he married.
Donna Dixon, is that right?
Yeah, from WKRP in Cincinnati.
No, Lonnie Anderson.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
She was from Bosom Buddies.
Buddies, yeah. So he's got a nice wife.
Comet, Cupid, Donna Dixon. Simpsons reference for All right, Brandon, thank you very much. Let's go over to Daniel in El Paso. Daniel, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. How y'all doing?
Good, thank you, sir.
I'm just calling to get your opinion on Ben Affleck as Batman and shit, because personally I think he looks shitty. Like, Pete Holmes could have did a better job, you know what I'm saying?
Pete Holmes.
Wow. My opinion is I actually think Affleck is going to do okay as Batman. As that generation of Batman, I think he's going to do okay. Batman, I'm actually looking forward to seeing in that movie. The rest of the movie? Probably not so much.
From what I've seen in the trailers, he's the least problematic thing I've seen so far.
And Jeremy Irons looks pretty cool as Alfred, too, I would say. So that part of the movie, I'm okay with. Everything else...
Well, every time I heard they did a screening of it, the execs were like, more Batman, less Superman. So I feel like it's, he's probably the best part of that film. Plus, that one scene in the new trailer where he's beating everyone up in the room, like kind of like Equilibrium, was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Has anybody else been annoyed with the Turkish Airways ads?
I've only tied into this once.
I'm a cable cutter, man. I have no idea.
They showed them during the Super Bowl, but no, I've seen them on, like FXX has them. They run where one is based on Bruce Wayne flying, which Bruce Wayne would never fly Turkish Airlines. He'd have his own jet because he's a billionaire. But he's saying, we're bringing Gotham back to its former glory. He comes off very Donald Trumpish in the thing, and then it ties in, they're meeting on the roof, and Trump, Turkish Airways. Then the other one is Clark Kent in Metropolis and how they're going to rebuild. And then all of a sudden, that one stopped airing. Now it's just Ben Affleck as Batman. They don't even air the other one anymore. Point I want to get at is it's annoying, but that roof scene where they're walking in slow motion next to each other, from the side, Superman looks like John Cleese. Like you expect him to kick a leg out and do a silly walk. Just my observation.
I don't remember if I said this last week or not, but the thing that I find most fascinating right now with Batman versus Superman leading up to the opening in 2 weeks, I think we are, is that tickets went on sale, I think 2 weeks ago now, and we have still not heard a peep.
I've heard nothing
as to how they're doing.
Nothing.
The first couple of days, movietickets.com put out, they were 90% of ticket sales yesterday, which means nothing. That means if they sold 10 tickets, 9 of them were for Batman. That doesn't mean that they're doing great. I feel like when tickets go on sale pretty early, normally after a couple of days, you start to hear the financial implications of what that means. And I don't know why Warner's isn't releasing that information.
They're the first to gloat. Like, they want to let you know that they broke all these records or they're doing so well, and there's nothing.
So, for example, Civil War tickets went on sale already, too, I think.
They did?
Yeah. Yesterday, I think they went on sale.
You're behind
and
I know.
I would suspect by Monday or Tuesday of next week, I would be surprised if Disney didn't come out and give us an idea of how the sales from the weekend were. I mean, they did it with Star Wars, and Star Wars was a different beast. I get that. But I find it odd that tickets have been on sale for 2 weeks and we haven't heard a peep as to how many tickets they've sold.
If it's any reflection of how well the toys are doing, if you walk into a Target, a Walmart, a Toys R Us, anywhere that carries toys, you see all the Batman vs. Superman stuff still neatly on the shelf and on the pegs. Meanwhile, all the Marvel and WWE stuff's laying all over the floor and Star Wars stuff. So you're like, no one's touching that. And those have been out, I think, 2 weeks now. And I haven't seen anything empty.
The one, the Batman in the suit. in the kryptonite suit or whatever. That one's a pretty cool figure, but the rest of them are. How many Superman figures do you need? How many? Aquaman, I guess, was doing okay because it was the first time you had Jason Momoa as Aquaman. But again, if you're not a fan of that version of Aquaman, probably no one's buying that figure.
So Batman has a kryptonite suit.
Yeah, that suit that you see him in.
It's a big suit of armor and the eyes lit up. It's kind of like what was in the old Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns thing. When he fights Superman and realizes he's no match for Superman, he comes back with this big armored suit that's all like almost like equivalent of Hulkbuster.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was like a Hulkbuster
But doesn't it have kryptonite? Isn't there?
I don't think so. Arrow, if you go back to Dark Knight, which is what they've been ripping off, and Nolan ripped it off, now they're ripping off parts of it here, is like Arrow shows up, Green Arrow shows up and shoots kryptonite arrows at Superman.
Right, that I remember. For some reason I thought the suit had it too. Yeah, he shows up with one arm and pulls the bow with his teeth.
That's kind of cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that is on demand right now on HBO. So as we talk and debate all the movies, if anyone hasn't seen the animated version of Dark Knight Returns based on Frank Miller's classic 86 graphic novel, watch that immediately, and the heck with all this live action stuff, because it doesn't get any better than that story, and that's what all these guys have been taking pieces of for years, rather than just make that freaking movie.
Yeah, just make it.
that's the story. You're taking like parts of Year One, you're taking parts of Returns, and what you're making isn't as good as what he wrote 30 years ago.
Yeah, just adapt it.
I've never even seen it, so I just wrote it down because I want to watch it.
Yeah, it was a 2-part animated series, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, Peter Weller does the voice of an old Batman because he's supposed to be old, not Christian Bale with a bum knee. Right. And Michael Emerson from Lost is the Joker, and it is awesome.
Yeah,
cool. I'll check that out. But here's my question, because Superman can fly in space and stuff, so why doesn't he just pick up Batman and just leave him on the moon with the whale from South Park? And then just, fly back to Earth and be like, all right, I won.
That whole Batman versus Superman thing, it is, but here's the problem with this movie, or my personal problem with this movie. I know I'm going to get heat for it, but fuck it, whatever. What made that version that Randy just told you about to go check out work is that the conflict between Batman and Superman is after 30 years of button heads.
Yeah, of the Boy Scout versus the vigilante and the politics involved between it. And Reagan plays a part in the original story.
Yeah.
It's strictly it's totally out of the 80s, which is when Miller wrote it. But Reagan is president, and I don't want to spoil. You watch it. It's awesome.
And so the build up and the tension there is real. And there's also there's this weird kind of hatred, but there's also this weird kind of respect, and so it's a very interesting dynamic that plays out very well when you read it or when you watch the animated version. My concern with this is that they're rushing that conflict. And you're right. That version of Superman, why doesn't he just toss Batman into space to
just leave there? All right, you're done.
Fly him
he
up
doesn't
into
even
the
have to fly. He
knock
can
him out.
Grab him by the arm and just do a hip check and throw him up.
Because what's going to happen is you're going to rush the shit out of the fight between the two of them and immediately turn it into them versus Doomsday. That's what's going to happen in that movie.
And along the way, throwing in Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Flash,
and a hint at and a hint at Darkseid. So it's
Darkseid.
So yeah, I think they're going to rush the conflict between the two of them.
Yeah. All right. We do have to move on in just a second because we do have to get to Louis Anderson, but let's go to our pal Fabio in Los Angeles. How are you, man?
Hey, what's going on, Eric?
Hey, what are you doing?
Well, I was just listening to the show in my driveway because it's the only place I get service for my satellite radio.
Wow, thanks for the dedication.
It is, because I just saw my mailman drop off a big old box of NECA Toys goodness, and I thought I'd get on with my pal Randy.
Awesome. What'd you buy, brother?
I just got the entire set of Hateful Eight figures.
Nice. Very cool. And you see the Tarantino surprise figure we dropped this week?
I did, and it arrived yesterday. I'm super stoked.
Man, all right. You are on top of things. I appreciate it. I can send my kids to a good school someday. Thank you. It's cool. That's a fun one to do, and it's cool when we can surprise people still, which doesn't happen enough in toys anymore, or in movies for that matter.
Is Hateful Eight a good merchandising? Merchandise for that movie? Because the movie, there was a lot of hype building up to the movie. Right. It came out, then it didn't seem like anyone was talking about it.
Yeah. Well, Westerns, unfortunately, are a tough sell. A lot of people just don't give a shit. Right. I like Westerns. I grew up watching them. I love Unforgiven. I love Tombstone.
Tombstone is one of the best movies ever.
Yeah. I mean, even stuff from Silverado, it's a little bit
Blazing
silly,
Saddles.
but you can't go wrong with that, of course. But I mean, all that stuff's cool. So I liked it. It's shot beautifully, and he always, Tarantino's great with casting and pacing, dialogue. It didn't play well, but Westerns never do. It's like you do a Western, it's a kiss of death, but Kurt Russell, you can't go wrong with him either.
Sure.
For us, we have a long relationship with Tarantino. We started with Kill Bill, and then we did Grindhouse, and we did Django Unchained, and in turn when
you got a lot of press for that.
We did. That is a perfect example of no such thing as bad publicity. So when he came to us and said, do you guys want to support it? Absolutely, we do, because he's been great to work with, and the stuff always gets attention. It was cool to make a Kurt Russell and Walton Goggins, who I think is an awesome actor. So there's a lot of cool stuff in it. We didn't make a lot, though, so you're right. It's not a big market, but we did a defined edition size of 3,000 pieces for everything in the line. So we kept it, pretty small and just for those hardcore Tarantino fans.
Did I just see Kill Bill 3? Got announced? Was that fake or was that?
It might be. He's talked about things, or he's talked about editing it together as one big movie as well. He's talked about an anime. There's been a lot of talk. I haven't seen
combines the title
official.
just Kill Bill.
Yeah, I thought I saw something earlier in the week about it, but then it kind of was like a blip on the screen. You didn't see it again, so maybe it was just
you might have gotten trolled.
I might have gotten trolled. It happens from time to time.
You should check that out.
So do any of the Hateful Eight ones come with the little miniature of the guitar that was destroyed during the movie?
No, that Martin guitar.
Yeah.
No. We found out, unfortunately, we were developing as they were shooting, so we found out about the guitar as an accessory a little too late. So it's basically your standard 6 shooters, some rifles. Kurt has the little smoking pipe.
Nice.
The girl has the handcuffs. It's just your basic. We did not have the guitar, but that's a hell of a story. Cool. That's crazy.
Poor guitar. They said they're never going to lend out instruments
I don't blame
to any
them.
movies ever again. Yeah,
it's priceless.
Crazy.
Oh, they're just being old and stuffy. That's just the way things are done now.
This priceless antique.
We do have to take a break. We're going to get to Louis Anderson to talk about his role in Baskets on FX. Randy from NECA Toys is here, and of course he will be joining us after that, so we can continue the toy discussion, all the new stuff that's going on with NECA. Maybe he has some stuff to give away, I'm not sure, but he's smiling and he has a big box, so that's usually a good sign. Anything else we got to throw out there before we take a break?
I don't think so, no.
No? Okay. Let's go do something, and then Louis Anderson will be here. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome to the show right now somebody that I've been watching his special since I was a little kid. Some of my favorite movies that you've been in. And we'll start off this question right after I say who it is. Louis Anderson. Where is the DVD box set for Life with Louis?
It's in Disney's hands. So if you have any contacts at Disney, we'd love to do it. We've been trying to do it. It's just one of those things, like, I don't know how to put out a box set of DVDs. Do you?
Well, once they say, all right, we're going to actually physically manufacture it.
You have to give them a proposal.
Right, and then...
Will you set this up if I get you a meeting?
I can.
Then you could be the guy who distributes. Honestly, wouldn't that be a cool thing? That you are going to become the distributor worldwide of the first box set of 39 episodes of Life with Louis. Why not?
Why not?
Because I would
love to sit down and do the commentary with you.
I'd love to do the commentary. Why
that
don't you
seems like the most fun part of it.
Do you have a lawyer or a friend or anybody at Disney?
My sister is a travel agent for Disney.
Perfect.
So she may know people.
Tell her to stop all the flights until... why am I in Coach? Well, we'd like to talk about Life with Louis, and then I'll get you up to first class.
Do you still get people talking to you about Life with Louis?
Every single day.
For those who don't know, Life with Louis was an animated series that Louis developed, roughly based on stories of your life and other things, that was on Fox. I think
First
the Saturday morning
Fox
Kids from 95, 98.
Bought it. And then Disney bought Fox Family.
So if you grew up in the 90s, of course, you've watched the show. You played yourself as a younger version, but you also played your dad, right?
Yes, I played my dad. Didn't anyone else have a dad like that?
It was always a lot of indifference.
The noisiest dad in the world. You know what I mean? You'd know he was home by...
He was always like, look, I love the kid, but I'm always disappointed in what the kid does.
Louis, when Canada invades, and they will. You know, he was that kind of dad. He was always giving advice.
He's like, there's nothing I can do. Yeah. I've tried to help you.
I've tried to help Louis, and he's his mother's son.
But that's so great that, years removed since the series has been off the air, that people still have a fondness for this. You do find YouTube clips now and then when people put that up there. But, we got to get the box set rolling.
Can I tell you a great story?
Please.
So, I have a Life with Louis page, and 150,000 of them on the page are from Turkey and Romania and Poland and Russia, because Life with Louis in the 90s was a giant hit there.
Wow.
And people from those countries find their way to Vegas to see me on occasion. But here's the cool thing. Like, the NFL let us use in Life with Louis their logo for the Packers and the Bears, right?
Right.
And because the show took place in Wisconsin, even though I grew up in Minnesota, because lawyers said, here, make it in Wisconsin, then people can't sue you, which I regret. But, lawyers, they just tell you stuff and you do it. So if you were to go on their pages, when I communicate with the people from Turkey and Romania and that, they're fans of the Green Bay Packers.
Just because of your show.
I can't imagine otherwise why. Can you?
Well, it could be that old thing where, maybe they lost the playoffs or the Super Bowl and the merch was already made, so they ship it over there.
Maybe, but to see the Life with Louis as their favorite show and the Packers as their favorite team, I just think it just seems like a link to me. It's one of those Midwestern things. I think Life with Louis still has a life of its own, and people love it. They come up to me in the hall here. 2 people came up and said, hey, I have a cold. One guy said, I have a cold. I don't want to give you my cold, but your cartoon made my life.
Let me ask you about the other countries thing. So you said Life Louis has this big fan base abroad. While you're doing the show, do you get the tapes of when they have to do the other voice actors?
Yeah,
so you
I've
hear
seen
yourself in Russian and all that?
18 different languages.
So weird, right?
But they get the essence. They got the dad right. They get the kid. Oh.
Right.
I mean, that sounds like that in Turkey.
And those are fun options to have on the box set. So when you can choose the
English.
Mean
when you do?
When I put the box set out, when you
But I'm serious. Wouldn't this be a great thing? Speaking of being serious, unserious. Wouldn't that be the greatest thing that I have been trying to get this on, and that I come here and this kind of a nugget.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
It's just someone has a genuine interest
out there. We're interested.
Right.
Louis at LouisAnderson.com. And I mean, this show, I still can produce it. If somebody really wants to go all in, we can do another 26 episodes and have 5 years of Life with Louis.
How weird would it be if they do greenlight the box set and they said, yeah, we don't want you involved. We're going to have other people just do the commentary, redub the voice.
Yeah, I would love that. Nothing would make me happier if somebody can nail it.
While watching the foreign stuff, which like on some box sets, like The Simpsons, they do put that on there. So you're watching Homer in French and in Italian and everything. And
do they nail it? Like,
no,
they don't.
Because I don't know the language, so they're obviously doing the dialogue. But I know, growing up, The Simpsons is so ingrained with me till this day. That is my thing.
Yeah.
And I know the cadence, I know the lines, I know the jokes sometimes before they're coming up. So when you're watching it in the foreign languages, they're translating, but sometimes they're not giving the essence of what the joke is or the emotion being expressed while they're doing the animation.
So what does that say? Does that say that no matter what, people will watch anything?
Well,
I mean, I'm just asking because,
I think it's people in other countries really want to watch American products.
Because that was really important to me, that the other countries got the essence.
Right.
And the guys who did Life with Louis, the dad and the Louis character, are big stars in Turkey. They were at their Comic-Con.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Life with Louis is bigger in Turkey than it is in America.
Did you have any merchandising during that time period?
Can you handle that too when you're putting it all together?
We could. We need some plush dolls. We need a little Funko Pop thing.
I wanted to have a little dad that went, God.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Is that right?
Just hang it on the wall like the singing bass.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
The same type of
thing. You walk into the room and he's just already disgusted.
We did do a bunch of merchandise, shirts and Life with Louis. Hey, can you give me my coat one more time? I'm going to show you what else we did. We did this. That's now yours.
What?
This is an original that we did when the show came out.
Oh, wow.
So there's a true Life with Louis fan. It's a pin. You know, people collect pins all the time.
Yeah.
That's the original. Those are the originals.
I can have this?
Yep. You can have it.
Jesus, man, thank you so much.
Well, look how much you love Life with Louie. Why would I want to? I am Life with Louie, so
I know. I'm talking to Louie. It's kind of an honor here.
Well, I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much
love
for
Life
that,
with
man.
Louie. I feel like the best thing I was able to create. I came from a completely dysfunctional family, and I was able to clean it up enough, to present it to people and still keep the essence of everything. Like everything's underneath with those characters. And so I was able to, and that's why I think it resonates because, I think Louie was trying to figure it all out, and I think Dad was a know-it-all, and Mom was the peacekeeper. And, I'm really proud of it. It's the best thing. It's one of the best things I ever did.
Well, look, I'm a guy that loves animation, stuff like that, and there's a lot of stuff out there. Not a lot of it good. Especially some of the stuff from my childhood that I look back fondly on them, but if you watch it today, it doesn't hold up like He-Man and Voltron and G.I. Joe and stuff like that. But the jokes in Louie were it was on that Rugrats level where it was enough that the kids enjoyed it, but there was stuff where if the parents are watching, like, oh, I see what he's talking about, I get it.
I'll give you a great example. They used to like we'd give them a script, and Standards and Practices would take out something, and then they would leave
for
in
a cartoon,
and then they would leave in butter liquor, right?
Yeah.
Like when my mom said to Louie, "No cats." Why not? Because they licked the butter. We can't keep it. You're a butter licker. Right?
Yeah.
And so that got in, which has all kinds of stuff in it.
Other innuendos,
Yeah, that they should. And that's what I tried to do with the show, is I tried to have...
you didn't dumb it down.
I didn't dumb it down. I wouldn't do it. I didn't dirty it up. They came to me and asked me to make it more like The Simpsons, and I just didn't know where couldn't do it. And I wish I would have, in hindsight, in one sense, to save Life with Louie, but I didn't have those kind of... I didn't have that capacity.
Right.
Where, if you're drawing art in your mind, or you're making art with a group of people, you don't want to change your art to appease somebody who just bought, just bought the network.
Because then it's almost selling out. It's selling out your vision.
And I'm selling out also to all the, like, how many people, like, you could watch that show with your parents and they would enjoy it.
Right. It's 39 episodes, you said?
39 episodes.
Now I got the artwork for the box, because now we can kind of do a play on the classic 39 from the Honeymooners.
I love it.
And do it that way for Louie.
Well, Jackie Gleason was a big influence, and we just had his 100th birthday, I think, not too long ago. And he definitely inspired me so much that I had Audrey Meadows. Is that the one who played his wife?
She played Alice, yeah.
She was in my pilot, who played my aunt.
For Life with Louie.
Yeah, and she told me great Jackie Gleason stories. She said Jackie would show up and go, "You ready?"
Yeah,
and
they
hadn't
never rehearsed
or anything, so I just love that.
He wrote it or contributed to the writing, would go out drinking, do whatever, and then he would show up on stage ready to go, and then he never failed.
And I think that's why we loved him. I'm sure it's why he slapped the table. He was trying to think of something to say.
Instead of saying, if he could get away with physical movements, he's already 2 steps ahead of where everybody else is.
It's like they used to say about comics in the vaudeville time. You would learn to do your act drunk. So no matter how bad it got out there, you could still do it as if you were drunk.
I got to learn to do interviews that way.
Yeah.
I think they would greatly improve.
Yeah, I think that you're good at interviewing, so I don't know.
Last
drunk
thing,
might not be any fun.
Are any of your specials on Netflix?
My last one is Big Baby Boomer.
Right.
And then my book is now finally on Kindle, Dear Dad.
Okay.
And then my specials just are coming on iTunes, or are on iTunes now. Mom Louie's Looking at Me and The Louie Show.
Because that always ties into, they always put different artist stuff together. So if you found one project, it links you
we'd
to
love
everything
to do them
else.
All. Why not?
Why not?
I own almost everything. So
even the Showtime ones?
I own almost everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I own the
That's
Showtime
great.
ones for sure. But I like to do the commentary, because Life with Louie I wasn't going to do it. So there's lots of really great stories there.
That you weren't going to do the animated series at all?
I wasn't going to do it. I said, I don't see how it would work. And then Matt O'Callahan, who was the animator, who just finished, he did Itsy Bitsy Spider and Curious George, but he works all the time. In fact, we just met about doing an animated movie. But anyway, maybe what we could do is tie in an animated movie with the release of all the DVDs. That would be a really cool thing. But he took my Mom Louie's Looking at Me, which I see you have up on the screen there.
Right.
You can get the 25th anniversary at my website. And he took pictures that he was going to draw the animation, and he put it over my voice. He put it over my special where I did my mom's voice, my dad's voice, and me as a little kid's voice. And he drew the pictures, and then I could see it so clearly. And that's what sold me on doing it.
Let's also talk about why you're here, because your current project is amazing. Baskets on FX, Thursday nights, 10 p.m. on the FX network. Plus, if you haven't seen it on demand, or go to FX Now, which I do a lot for Simpsons World and Archer and a bunch of other things on FX.
Man,
I love Archer. You can catch up all the episodes right there on FX Now. You play Zach Galifianakis' mom, Mrs. Christine Baskets. And I gotta tell you, as the series has gone on, you're stealing the show here. And you're not overdoing anything. Your wit and your lines are just so dry, and you just let it sit there. And if people get it, amazing. If they don't get it, somewhere down the line while watching the episode, they go, wait, I gotta go back to that scene and then hear what he said again. And then I'm like, oh my God, now that was just so deadpan. That was really funny. Now you're in a coma, so what do we do? Like, I'm hoping you're coming back at some point.
Well, you never know with a coma, and especially diabetic coma.
Right.
Sugar pie will do that to you. And that was why, really challenging. That was a challenge. I'll tell you why that was such a challenging thing to shoot. My great-nephew, Christopher, Michael McLaughlin, his son, went into a coma before we shot the thing. So it was such an odd thing to be shooting something about a coma with my nephew, who's still alive, thank God, praying for him. It's just so funny how in art, you're constantly doing stuff
that
mirrors
life.
What's going on in your life. And so I didn't mean to bum anyone out, but,
life. That's where you pull from.
Yeah, life, and you go, and everybody on the set was really pulling for him to make it because he was in really critical condition, and you just don't know how tenuous life is. And so, this whole thing with Christine, I took a lot more serious in the coma thing.
Yeah, you're not forcing any jokes. You're not, or any, not that you're doing much physical comedy with it, but nothing you're doing is forced. It just seems like you're just being a mom, doing what you would normally do. Nothing's unusual, despite what your son's doing. Nothing's unusual. And there's a bit of you're bullshitting yourself because you look at your son very fondly, and you don't want to fully acknowledge that he keeps messing up his life and the life of everybody else around him.
I realized this later in my own life, and I think you do. I don't think you think your parents messed up, but I think at a certain point in life, you think, oh, I think my mom and dad were like this. And I think that Christine has a past that you don't know about yet. And she might have been a little bit like Chip. There might have been a wild side to Christine. And so I really tried to I think Christine is super vulnerable, and I think Chip is super vulnerable. And I think she sides with him. Mm-hmm. When her husband fell off the bridge, I think that Chip, I don't know if you remember this speech, but he hardly made it. And he was able to survive that time when he learned to juggle. And so I think that she doesn't ever want to lose or have him slip away again. So I think she's trying to do everything she can to hold on to her son and to help him through what we all go through, which is difficult times.
Right.
I mean, I approach this as really his mom, both their moms, all of their moms. I really do. I really play it like I'm their mother. I don't break character on set. I really stay in character.
Louis, this is Paul. He works with me here.
Hello.
Paul has been on Baskets even before it came out.
We got the screeners.
Right.
plowed through all of them and we're rewatching them.
He was imitating lines before we even got a chance to watch everything, and we're like, what are you talking about? And he goes, you'll see.
Yeah.
He loves this show.
Everything from just your expression to everything down pat is so, like, good. Just even from how you protected the pie from slipping on the ground in last night's episode.
Yeah.
It's just so perfect. Even, like, the small town vibe, like the Bakersfield vibe, where you're giving his wife Penelope the tour, and it's everything from this Arby's is better because the curly fries. Everything is just so down pat with the character.
Well, real quick, that fast food, because I want to get into fast food in your act, because that influenced me growing up too. But was that something that you got to throw into the character when you're doing the Arby's thing?
I got to add some of that, but some of it was already in the script, the Arby's stuff.
Oh, it was? Because I swear I thought that was your influence.
The curly fries thing, I got to Martha and Zach and I on the couch got to ad-lib that stuff.
That was in the end credits.
Yeah. You know, I have to be honest with you. I can't recite the scripts to you, and I can't tell you what's mine and what's theirs. But I can tell you we had a lot of freedom. I always said to Jonathan, can I do this how my mom would do it? And my mom, when you drove with her, she would say, and you can go back to my act and get this, she'd go, Shirley's daughter works in that building. And you'd go, who's Shirley? Oh, you know her. She's got that little chihuahua that can't walk. What? She bought you a little tiny pair of cowboy boots when you were 2. What? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Moms have the history of everything. And that's from your mom and your dad. Same with Louie. You learn the history of everything. So when you take somebody back to your town, Arby's was our first fast food place. So I'm an expert at Arby's. Like, I can tell you right now, you can still get an Arby's Super if you ask them for it. They'll still make you it's not on the menu.
Well, it's not on the menu now because they have the meats now.
They do have the meats.
Right.
We have the meats.
It's 10 episodes the first season?
10 episodes.
And it's already been renewed for a second season?
It has. I'm trying to get him to do, 20 because I think
I could just see the Christine Baskett's character. It's so good getting her own spin-off and just doing getting deeper into her life and her backstory.
Could you start that campaign?
I would love to.
Because I'm right on board with you.
Well, in the show, they showed a flashback to young Christine with her mom giving her a hard time. I'm trying to remember, what was the scene? Was
it
Easter?
Yeah.
It was Easter, but what was it back then? Was she a cheerleader? Cheerleader. I was going to say prom.
She sprained her ankle.
So that could be where, going into her college years, where, as you were saying, Christine could be a lot like Chip.
Life, like you say.
Right.
That nothing would make me happier than to enhance what's already been out there. I love doing this show. I love working with Jonathan. I love working with Zach and Martha. I have to tell you, that was what I was going for, exactly what you're talking about. How would my mom protect the pie? Do you remember when you were growing up, if there was something in the front seat, your arm would catch it? There was no way it was going to... I spent a lot of time on that pie. And then I go, maniac! I wasn't going to let I tried to be my dad and my mom in that character, because the mean part is definitely how my dad was.
When you first see the first couple episodes of Baskets, you think it's just going to be like the evolution of this guy being a clown. But I love how it really just gets into more of the family atmosphere with the twin brother and then the step brothers, and just that every dynamic just fits so perfectly with each other, and how it's evolving now that it's a continuation story of more about the family instead of just this guy's career as a clown.
This is a show that they designed it, and I'm happy to be a part of it. But this show is, to me, all about family. It's not about anything else. It's about the dynamic in your family. I'm telling you, what I'm trying to go for is every mom in America, or your aunt or whoever, because I get this all the time on Twitter, at Louis Anderson, so I can get 600 followers. But remember when you first started Twitter, and I'd go to other comedians' Twitters and go, how did they get all them? How did Howie Mandel get all those? And just how competitive. And then once you realize none of that matters. But I get this all the time on Twitter. My aunt is just like you. You're playing my mother-in-law, and then they post pictures, which is my favorite thing. You look just like my cousin.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I did have this plan to show you that one of the more disturbing things with watching Baskets and when your character debuted was I realized you have my mom's hairdo.
Oh, wow. Can I see it?
right there.
Oh my God.
That's my.
Oh my God.
So when you walked out, I freaked out. I went, "Oh my God, that's my mom."
I thought those were real birds in the background. What's your mom's name?
Diane.
Diane, I'm on your son's show. How are you? I love her.
She's listening down in West Palm Beach.
Oh, well, who she is? She's got it made. I love it. She
right?
looks, I'm not kidding you. Yeah.
So,
it's just so funny to see people's moms, isn't it? Like, that's the best part of life.
I guess I fall into that mold there where everybody's like, "You're my aunt, you're my mom."
Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of when you walked out.
And it's so relatable in the one episode where you're showing the step twins' room, and you're just showing off, and you're like, trophy. It's just so relatable because that's how like everybody's mom is.
Well, they're DJs now.
Yeah. Oh, for the Chemical Brothers.
So Baskets.
I'm glad you like it so much.
We love it so much. Baskets Thursday nights, 10 p.m. on FX. Go to FX Now to catch up if you haven't even started it, or if you missed a few. If it's not on demand, FX Now definitely has this. We only have a few more minutes with you, but I wanted to get into a couple other things.
Sure, anything.
You're in two of my favorite movies. One being Ferris Bueller, where you're the flower delivery guy, and the other one is Coming to America, where you work at McDowell's,
right?
And you play Maurice. Now, I heard a story about how you got the role.
Yeah.
I want to see if this is true.
Yes.
Did it involve being at the same restaurant with Eddie Murphy?
It did. I bought lunch for him and his entourage, but I told the waiter, "Don't tell Eddie about it till I'm gone. I'm not looking for any praise."
So you paid for it as you were leaving?
I gave my American Express card, the $660.
That's amazing.
It was and I go, just pay for it. I'm going to pay for it. Who else gets a chance to pick up Eddie Murphy's lunch?
And that's like at the height of his fame.
Yeah, he had a good group with him, but it was really nice. And then they called and said, "Hey," Eddie said nobody ever picks up his lunch, which I was surprised by. And he said, "I'm doing this little movie called Coming to America, and I'd like you to do a part in it." Then I flew to New York, I think, and met with John Landis because he wanted to meet me. And that was really fascinating because he talked about Twilight Zone because he was just going through all that stuff with Twilight Zone.
Right.
That unfortunate stuff with Vic Morrow and the kids and that. So it was quite a thing. Like, I had been thrust into that movie. And that movie, I didn't know how big that movie was going to be till I got on the set. And then I saw, oh my God, I'm really lucky.
Because when I heard this story, and I was like, why haven't more actors thought to do this? Like, if you're out in
they're
LA.
not from the Midwest. Midwesterners
you know what
are
that is? They don't have that morality instilled in them.
Well, what?
Good manners.
Even if I don't make it in show business, I thought, well, I'm going to go back and I can tell that story. What did you do last week? I bought Eddie Murphy's lunch.
But nowadays, that's just being a nice person, and it worked out for you. But somebody should take that. That story and go, look, I'm at Ben Frank's in LA, and I happen to see, J.J. Abrams. Here's $100, just pay for JJ's lunch while I'm going to go out. And then all of a sudden, you might be in JJ's next movie.
Don't think JJ wouldn't call you and thank you.
Yeah.
Do you know that nobody picks up anybody's lunch?
Nobody.
And you should do it. And you should do it just out of whether you get something or not.
You're a good person.
Midwestern. Well, my mom was a good person, and that's why Christine exists. I'm telling you. I mean, I'm drawing all that stuff from my mom and 5 sisters and every Midwesterner I ever met and every mom I've ever met. Every mom becomes something, to her family. And, they all have lives, moms. And I'm trying to make Christine have a great life, too. It's not just Chip and Dale and the boys. It's,
Well, she's having fun. I really love the fact that you had membership at the top level to every kind of Costco, BJ's, Sam's Club, all of that stuff.
Well, that even goes to his point how she's becoming a mother to every character where she's like, I'll sign up for Martha's thing to help you out here.
Right. Yes. Because, that was the really thing. I mean, that wasn't my idea, but what a good note in the script where mom helps 2 people out because, moms help people out. Dad abandoned us. He had that terrible fall off the bridge.
I'm sure they're going to explore that. They have to in season 2.
Yeah.
Because it's just too... It's like in The Simpsons, Marge's dad, the original story was that he died on a roller coaster. And then they never explored that. I'm like, why didn't they... That's just such a weird way to go. They have a season 2 now. You got to find out why he fell off the bridge.
Well...
I do like the mystery of it sometimes, though.
Yeah.
And then you piece together, you see the characters evolve and how it affects them.
Do you think it's funnier just to keep referencing that and then actually see the story?
I think you save all those things for the last season.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully season 2 will not be the last season of Baskets.
I hope not either. I want more people to watch it. A lot of people like it, but you always need people to watch it. Right. Because that's what keeps shows on. You know, like look at the Americans, who I'm a big fan of, is coming on. People are watching it. You know, I was glad that show hung on, because isn't it nice to have shows that have a particular thing that aren't broadly, but really are nuanced and really artistic? And I'm telling you, Baskets I'm working with the artists. I'm telling you, Jonathan Kreisel is a unbelievable director.
Well, Baskets Thursdays, 10 p.m. on FX. We tell people this too. If you DVR it, you have up to 3 days to watch it, where it still counts.
Oh, cool.
To the numbers for that week's viewing. And
everybody,
of course,
go back, and even if you're not in the room, play all the episodes.
Right, all at once.
Yes.
Every mobile device, load up FX now and play each episode.
FX. I mean, not that we're struggling, because we're not. But
no, not
they
at all.
already gave us season 2, but, you know, help us stay, you know, true to the thing. Plus, you know, find the character in Baskets that lights your fire.
Right.
And follow it right through.
Also, the Louis Anderson podcast, which comes out with a new episode every Tuesday. Subscribe on iTunes. You enjoying doing that?
I am. I'm looking forward to I'm going to do one with Zach and Martha coming up. That should be a lot of fun. I did the Great American Comedy Festival and did some of the people who were involved with that, Johnny Carson's festival.
Right.
And so, yeah, I love doing that. I like talking to comics about their journey.
Podcasts seem to be the saving grace for comics nowadays, because they can just take the recorder with them. And when they're on the road, they're stuck in a hotel room, maybe in a town that doesn't have much nightlife or something going on. They get stir crazy, you know, and it can lead to bad things down the line, or developing other obsessions. But this way they can just turn it on and ramble for an hour, and they send it, they put some production on it, and there's a podcast for
And you
the
always
week.
find out something. Like, I did the one with Frank Caliendo, who's my friend, and I said, who do you think his first impression was in life?
I don't know.
I mean,
probably his parents.
No. The Muppets.
Really?
When he'd watch it on TV, he would go around and impersonate the Muppets. And I found that out because I'm always fascinating what makes an impressionist an impressionist.
Well, check out the Louis Anderson podcast. Maybe Louis will do some impressions going down the line here.
I might. I wouldn't doubt it.
Last thing, and then I know you got to run off here. Your comedy, like I said, it was another thing I grew up with. You were one of the comics I was allowed to watch as a kid. Your Showtime special, I remember vividly, and then some of the other appearances you did. I'm going to butcher this joke, but the concept of what you said really hit home with me when I realized this man loves fast food as much as I do. You had some joke where you were talking about going through the drive-thru and ordering French fries, and you said just throw them in the back seat.
Right.
And then you said, oh, don't worry, I have my own salt shaker, and you're just going nuts as you drive. And I was like, I want to do that one day. Like, if you ever won the lottery, that is something, just fill up your car with French fries and drive around.
I'll just quickly do the joke. They go, what size you want? I go, how about the basket you fry them in? Go ahead. I don't use my back seat. Dump them in there.
Oh, it was such a great visual, and I was just like, this guy's amazing. And your love for fast food, I found a bonding moment in the comedy of Louis Anderson.
Thank you so
Louis,
much.
thank you so much. Louis Anderson on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you. I can't tell you what this means to me for the Life with Louis pin that you just gave me.
Well,
here.
you know, I give it to all the people who are going to produce stuff for me.
Right. You got a bag like they walk around in the Olympics.
No, I don't. Actually, that's my pin. That's my pin. But what matters about things is the same with Eddie. Like, buy the lunch. Don't look for results.
Right.
Give the pin for the love. If I had something of Christine's, I would give it to you. Maybe a necklace that you could wear around. People go, that's a weird necklace.
Send him one of those old dresses.
You know what I'll do? I'll send something of Christine's, all right? All right. So make sure I have your cards.
Please do.
Yeah.
Louis, nothing but love for you, sir. Thank you so much. And next time you're back in New York, there's so much more that I have here that I didn't get a chance to talk to. I wanted to talk to you about being Jeff Peterson on the Late Late Show, Family Feud,
that was
your
an
comedy
amazing
stuff.
experience, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'd love to come and do your show again anytime.
Please do. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Why are we playing this? Well, welcome back to It's Erik Nagel, but Louis, why are we playing this?
311, son. 311. It's 311. Come on now. You already know what day it is.
March 11th.
You know the color of my energy, Eric.
I get it. I'm all right with it. I like 311. I got no problem with 311.
You play the 311 Suck song by Anal Cunt?
Anal Cunt?
Never heard of it. Oh, it's a great song.
It's only
it's like 20 seconds long. It's like,
none of their songs were longer than a minute, if that.
Yeah.
So it's 311. Oh, March 11th, 311 day. All right.
Did you know yesterday was Mario Day?
I did know that.
I never knew that.
Why is it Mario Day?
So MAR 10. It looks like Mario spelled out, so they
March
consider
10th.
it.
That's like putting boobs in the calculator.
I don't know who comes up with this stuff.
Jesus. Can we just have May the 4th be with you?
Didn't 311... Wasn't there a thing where 311 meant KKK?
Yeah, because 11 is the K is the 11th letter of the alphabet, and it's 3.
I
so
swear,
people
when this
said that it
band
was, like,
came out, I
racist.
swear... Yeah, exactly. I thought people were freaking out because, 311 meant the Ku Klux Klan.
No, it just means they suck.
Yeah, but people are idiots. Look at the state of the country.
What was their
People
other
are
song
idiots.
besides this?
We're watching like people getting beat up at a Trump
At a
rally,
Trump
like on the
rally.
news. Like, of course.
Why does anything shock you?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. I'm going to have to go watch this weekend.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are back.
We're back. 866-969-1969. Sorry, I'm watching people get beat up at a Trump rally now. I wasn't looking at the TV. What was the other song for 311? Down.
They had a couple of radio hits.
What else did they have?
I can't
Yeah,
name
nobody
them.
cares.
No,
All
they
right.
had 3 or 4, but
Moving on. Thank you very much to Louis Anderson Baskets. Thursday nights, 10 p.m. on FX. You should definitely check it out. That guy could not have been nicer. He gave me the pin off his jacket because I was a big Life with Louis fan, which is awesome. I'll tweet that out in a little bit. But we are here right now with our buddy Randy from NECA Toys. And let's get into some of the stuff that NECA's got coming out this year or in the near future, whatever you got here. Tell us.
So we just had Toy Fair a few weeks ago at Javits Center where we showed basically the next 6 months of what's shipping. So we announced a ton of new stuff. Retro video game-wise, we got Contra, a Bill and Lance 2-pack.
That's awesome.
Which is really cool. We have Castlevania, which is like a pixelated Simon Belmont with a ton of accessories, including...
Is it the first Castlevania one?
It is, yeah, where he looks more like a barbarian before they made him all
where all my money is going.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Before he became an anime character.
Yeah, exactly. Before he was all androgynous and listening to Morrissey and stuff. That's when he was cool. So yeah, Simon, and he has like a flea man and a bat and swords and a whip and the mace and all sorts of the meat. You gotta have the meat for your energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, all that's in there, which is really cool. We announced probably our biggest surprise announcement at Toy Fair was a return to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes. Specifically classic. So we showed 1990 original film Donatello based on the Henson design.
I peed a little when I saw that figure, I'm not going to lie.
So that'll hit probably in June. It's a quarter scale figure, about 16.5 inches tall, 30
beautiful.
points of articulation, multiple hands, bow staff, some more accessories that we'll announce a little closer to release. And we're doing each turtle from the 90 film, one every quarter.
Are you doing a Splinter?
I'm hoping one of the accessories, at least for now, will be the rat Splinter, like
oh yeah, that'd
the
be awesome.
non-mutated, and then as well as some baby turtles too. And then for the next 10 months or so, it'll be just the turtles. I'm hoping to do more movie stuff, like a movie Splinter, movie Shredder, maybe next year. No promises, because there's a lot of other stuff going on with turtles that I can't talk about yet, but we will be soon. There's more stuff coming in different sizes, shapes, forms, and it's really if you're a turtle fan and you like what we did with the line before when we were doing the classic
classics,
the classic Eastman and Laird stuff, you're going to be really happy. And if you like what we do in general, especially the retro nostalgia, like the video game homages, old school packaging, stuff that ties back to your childhood, you're really going to like what's coming.
Are you going to release the little garbage cans that had the ooze and at the bottom was the glow-in-the-dark unmutated turtle?
We're not doing that.
Is there an articulated Vanilla Ice who can sing from The Secret of the Ooze?
Oh, man.
Are you going to have the alternate Kevin Nash as Shredder figure?
You're picking out all the worst. Focus on the good.
What about some of the seaweed from the sewer version of the Nintendo game that you couldn't get past?
I'm a big fan of the arcade game.
Oh, yes,
the arcade
of course,
game is great.
Which is in every barcade. We were talking about this the other day somewhere, and Yestercade is my favorite place to visit. A little plug for those guys down in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Yep.
The 4-player Konami arcade game is something that
was just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Did it have a subtitle?
It didn't. Later on, there was Turtles in Time,
right?
Right,
which wasn't as good.
Right.
I was at a little art show maybe 6 months back, and it was all like 80s themed, and someone had recreated the character select screen for the Turtles, and it was all like a nice framed piece, and I was like,
that's awesome.
That's the one thing I need to walk out of here with tonight, and it's up in my office hanging above my Turtles collection. So,
nice.
Yeah.
So that stuff's really cool.
Are there any images as far as the Contra and the Castlevania stuff?
Yeah, that stuff should all be online if you Google like NECA Toy Fair 2016, or follow us on Twitter, NECA_toys, or our Facebook, NECA Official on Facebook. All that stuff should be there.
We could throw some of it up on the It's Erik Nagel Instagram
we'll put
account
it up there too over the weekend.
Because I have photos from a bunch of it from.
Yeah, everything was shown.
Matt, that's your responsibility this
I'm right
weekend.
on top of that, Rose.
All right, tag us. I'll retweet it. But yeah, all that stuff was shown. It was pretty cool. And then we're doing a lot with Alien, so we showed some of it. But you mentioned May the 4th before. There's a movement for an actual Alien Day, like there is a May the 4th Star Wars Day, and that's going to happen this year.
Nice.
It's the 30th anniversary of Aliens, the Cameron.
That franchise has been really good to you. That was an amazing license for you guys to get, because you have not stopped making anything since you got it.
And Predator.
Predator has been number one.
Who knew? That's the other thing too. Over all the times that you've been on this show, and when you'd have the what looks like a clear Predator as he's
cloaking
and everything, and the glow in the dark stuff and all that. When you announce something new, and I'll see Randy responding to people, how many people collect every version of Predator?
Oh yeah.
It's like, he has a new hat. Oh, we got to get that one.
You know why? Because it was a great character design.
Yeah.
And so it created just a great history just based on the design.
Right.
So there's so much room.
For better or worse, the movies, none of them live up to the original.
Of course.
It's carried on through expanded universe comic books, video games, the Kenner toy line. We've gone back and redone those. We do Dark Horse stuff. We do some video game stuff now. We're doing Concrete Jungle, which was a really cool like PS2 and original Xbox game. So yeah, like it's deep. So we have done to date over 70 different Predator figures.
Wow. Nice.
There's no end in sight. Like we showed up through Series 16 at Toy Fair, and we have planned out through Series 20.
Holy Christ.
And they're making a new movie, so it's like it's not going to
going.
I heard rumor that Arnold is going to be in the new Predator as well, but I don't know if that's true or not.
All I know is he's having lunch with Shane Black, who's the writer and director, along with Fred Decker, who's writing it with him. I don't know if he's going to be in it or not. Arnold did an interview and said he's meeting with him. People are hoping. Personally, I like Arnold. I don't care one way or another. I want a good movie with cool predators that are deadly and badass, like in the original movie.
That's Adrian Brody?
Not that one. Not the Danny Glover one.
Come on, you got to put out the replica gun
from the end of the ship.
Was it a Revolution or Civil War? Where that gun was from?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, Predator's been awesome, and then Alien was always kind of number two. But we're reaching a point now where some of the stuff we've done with Alien, getting Sigourney Weaver involved, and having Ripley in the line, and some of the stuff we've done that thinking outside the box, like we sold the eggs with the face huggers and the carton that which we had on here.
By the way, Lisa, who's not here with us right now, but Lisa loved that. She thought that was the most amazing thing. Yeah. She said, I put it in the fridge so my daughter would try to get it. I was like, wow, awesome. You're a great mom.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff is good because it transcends your regular toy buyer. Like, we love and deal with our collectors on a pretty intimate basis through Twitter and Facebook and at conventions and stuff like that. But when you get an item like goes outside like that to people like Lisa who don't buy action figures, but hey, this is really cool. It's packaged clever, it's funny, it's unique, and that thing won some awards this past year. It sold really well, so it's cool to see that happen. And then with the summer being the 30th anniversary of Aliens, they're going to bring it back theatrically, I think, through screenings at Alamo Drafthouse.
Oh, nice.
And there's a whole bunch of product coming. Alien Day's coming. We've got so much cool stuff in store in the Alien world. It's pretty awesome.
Let me ask you a question about the Alien stuff. Are you going to be tied to the Prometheus stuff?
I am actually on Monday. I'm going to LA to find out a little bit more about it, because right now I don't know a whole lot. I know about what everyone else does, what Ridley has said, what's public knowledge, but I'm going to like a presentation about what's happening and what's going on. So we will be working on it. It comes out August of 2017, so we'll start our development probably this spring or early summer. Try to develop a year in advance to be out when the film comes out. And I'm hoping it's more deeply rooted in the Alien universe, where Prometheus was dancing on the outskirts and not really an Alien movie, but not really not an Alien movie either. It kind of
until you like that little part at the end where you see like the almost xenomorph thing,
that
and
Deacon
like,
thing pop up. So hopefully this is a little bit more deeply rooted. Fassbender's back, who's a great actor. So I'm very optimistic about it, and I'll know more next week. I'm not allowed to say anything, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but
we will be doing it. We'll keep
there's hopes
going
for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you happen to have anything that maybe we could give away to some of the listeners here? Because Randy is a very generous man and does not come empty-handed.
I always bring a big box of toys. We have a grid alien from the much beloved AVP film. But the grid alien is a super cool figure, over 30 points of articulation. It's out in stores now, but you can win one here from us.
All right. We'll open up the phones, 866-969-1969. If you want to win something cool from NECA Toys, not just aliens, he has a whole bunch of other stuff. So if you charm him really nice, maybe he'll hook you up with something cool that you get to take home today.
Nice.
All right. Before we came back, the Tick ID played before the 311 fiasco. And Giddles is excited because they're bringing the Tick back.
Yeah.
I think
it to Amazon, right?
Right. I think Patrick Warburton talked about it when he was on the show here, that they were bringing this back. But it's going to be more based on the cartoon and the comic than what they were doing on Fox.
And let's be careful. It's not coming back fully. All they have so far is a pilot order. It's not Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
It's an entirely new cast. And
it's not?
No,
because he said he was coming back.
No, if you read the release that came out, whatever it was yesterday, on I guess Nerdist posted it, but Amazon hasn't confirmed it yet. But it says Patrick Warburton because he's doing that other TV show right now and he's kind of tied up.
Oh, all right. Maybe he did have plans to do it and then it didn't work out.
I think they might have cast. I think they have an Arthur already though. I forget the actor's name, but no Tick yet that I've seen.
Okay.
So.
Are you going to be doing any Tick toys?
Based on that information, I'm not so sure. I think it's kind of like, let's wait and see and know more on who's in it. And, I think that one's a kind of a challenge because it's never succeeded very well. Like the Fox series was, not successful. The animated series in the mid-90s was moderately successful. It's a tough sell.
I don't know. That was one of those franchises that I loved, and when all the toys came out, I bought all the toys, and then there wasn't that many more toys after that point.
Yeah, I have all the old Bandai toys, like Mucus Tick and American Made and all that stuff. I dug it, but it never it never crossed over. It was really pretty niche.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think when the live action came out, I think the live action was... The world wasn't ready for a live action Tick. I think if that kind of show had come out now with the other kind of programming that we have, I think it probably would have done much better. Back then, I think people looked at it like, the hell is this? Like, I don't get it.
These are grown adults. Why is that guy wearing a Tick outfit? And why is a Tick blue and 6 feet tall? Yeah.
Do you remember the old Tick characters? The guy who was covered head to toe in carpet because he would shoot static electricity, but then he'd overheat and pass out, so he was no good to anybody. And then Sarcastro would come in and just go, "Oh, good job," and then they cut scene. It's like, good job, Sarcastro.
Outside of, can I jump back to NECA for a moment?
Yeah.
I have a question. Outside of Contra and Castlevania, do you have anything else that you've kind of announced but haven't shown yet, video game wise, like old video game wise?
Like a Triforce lamp?
No.
Nintendo.
I was actually thinking.
Right.
I was actually thinking
Damn it.
like Double Dragon or something else that might
that'd be
work.
cool.
I can tell you there are
Bionic
some...
Commando.
We did the reboot of that. It wasn't so successful, but there are some retro things that I'm looking at. So what we were doing all along was like movie adaptations of 8-bit and 16-bit games, and they did great. We did about 14 or 15 of them. Now we're doing strictly game IPs adapted in the format, so Contra, Castlevania.
Right. River City Ransom.
Bad Dudes vs. Dragon Ninja.
Battletoads.
A Boy and His Blob. Wait, no.
That is one, right? But Double Dragon and Rampage are very high on my list. I don't have the licenses, but
Has someone done Rampage?
No, they're talking about doing a movie.
There's a movie
I heard about that
with
yeah.
The Rock
or something, which now makes licensing probably a nightmare because they think, oh, this is going to be some gold mine like The Rock. It's the next San Andreas. But you know, I would love to do those. They're fun. I love those old games, and no one's ever done. There's no Rampage figures like in history. No Double Dragon figures. We were talking about Punch Out off air before. That's like my dream line. If I could do any video game line, it would be Mike Tyson's Punch Out or Nintendo's 8-Bit Pro Wrestling, because the freaking characters are so whacked out and awesome, and everyone played those games.
Mike Tyson Punch Out toys would be incredible.
Absolutely.
Because Nintendo has that amiibo line that's going right now.
Right.
And Little Mac, it's not like a chase figure. You can get it anywhere if you can get it, because it's always sold out. Right. Because people don't have anything that symbolizes Punch Out unless you have the game from growing up and you kept it. There's nothing to buy.
Right. Exactly. It's like wide open, and there's nothing out there. Like Nintendo has licensing. They don't do anything. They don't do anything smart with it. They think with, for the kids and the mass audience, they don't think about collectors. They don't think about guys in their late 20s or 30s.
The ones that have the expendable income.
Yeah. Right. That want to feel like a kid again and would love to plop down $20 for a Glass Joe or a King Hippo.
Wow, I want all of those characters.
Don Flamenco.
Yes.
And then when you squeeze his stomach, he swallows the rose.
Yes. Soda Popinski.
They're
so awesome.
Super Macho
Make him,
Man.
Stretch Armstrong.
Bald Bull. Piston Honda.
Piston Honda. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Oh, who was the...
Sandman, the turban guy?
Not Soda Popinski. Who was the other Russian right after Glass Joe?
Who's the German guy?
Yeah, maybe he's German.
Oh, yeah, he had the big handlebar mustache.
Yeah, there was the German guy.
He was the second guy.
And then there was the Indian dude who would fly around with the snakes.
The turban.
With the turban,
and with the jewel would blink before he'd do his crazy turban.
Tiger or something,
really
wasn't
racist.
it?
That stuff is awesome,
Yeah, that stuff. Yeah, there were some great, weird characters in that game.
Yeah, and like I said, everyone played them. It's like you could do the whole line and have it be successful without Mike, but I think you do the license with Mike, too, and you get Tyson in it, and he'll do it. He does tons of toys and tons of different stuff. It would be amazing, but...
The hardest part would be to have the other characters this big and Little Mac this big, like jumping up to punch someone in the face. Yeah.
Well, you just put out a different Mac with each other figure, and you just different punches.
Yeah. You just say it's just the top of his head and little gloves. That's all you need.
If you sold just a little glittery star, that would work too.
A referee of Mario as the referee. Like, there's so much potential in that one. But
do you know a Juan from Fox?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Do you want to?
There's someone here that says he helped with some of the NECA toys. Juan?
Hey, Eric.
Oh, it's fucking rolling. He got me.
He trolled you.
He got me.
Yeah, well, you know what? Louis Anderson's following all of us.
Yeah, he followed me last night.
Suck on that roll.
Toys
But, all right, let's go back to Fabio in Los Angeles. He had a question for Randy.
Oh, what's going on, guys?
Hey, again.
Eric, real quick, I just wanted to say thanks for sending me Get Shorty on DVD. My girlfriend had a really good time falling asleep to that the other day.
Okay. Throw it out. What do I care? You have it now.
But anyway, Randy, now that I've got you on the line, I was just curious. Going back to, like, the Cult Classics line you guys did and, like, even the early Terminator stuff, you guys put a lot more, static leg pre-posed figures. What's been sort of the driving force in recent years to bringing the articulation up to a more modern standard? Is it kind of like the trend in the action figure market right now? Or is it like, a personal thing?
It's kind of just evolving. When I started doing what I do at NECA, I had spent a couple years at McFarlane, and everything there was pre-posed and statuesque. I mean, there wasn't any articulation really, or at least not functional. And there was never even a ball joint in a neck, So when we started, we were kind of evolving from that, and we were doing more in the upper body, neck, shoulders, elbows, so forth, but then more static on the legs. Over time, it just got kind of too limited, or we'd have to do like multiple versions of the same figure to recreate key scenes or moments and what have you. And I collect a lot of toys in general, right? So I started looking at what was going on, really in Hasbro, G.I. Joe, and Star Wars when they started doing the insert molded ball joints. and this is getting way too nerdy, but basically an insert molded joint means you don't have to see the pin on the outside of the knee or the elbow, so it
looks like a real person moving around.
Yeah, aesthetically it's very pleasing. It doesn't disrupt it. You can hide it in the drapery, and if you do it right. And I saw what was going on there, and we started gradually implementing more and more into that, and it's kind of evolved from there. If sales went up, fans liked it more, and there are still some people that say, "Oh, we prefer pre-pose, whatever," but it's like, then go buy a statue, because it's like it's evolved, and we like all the articulation, the posability, the playability. Pick it up, redo it, put it on your shelf, and have it in a different pose or position every day. So it just makes it more fun, more more versatile, and gives you more control. Why should you have to spend your $20 on a figure that's posed, in just one way that we think, oh, this is it? Let you have some freedom of choice with it.
And, some of the bigger companies are going backwards now. Hasbro's going backwards.
Yeah,
all those 5 points. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Really?
And then, what's weird, it's like, it's
cost cutting?
Not to, that's definitely part of it. And then not to, knock the competition, right? But like McFarlane, where I started, they went backwards and they went smaller on everything.
Right.
And now, as of Toy Fair, they announced, hey, we're going bigger. We're going back up to 6 3/4 inches or 7 inches. But articulation-wise, they're doing like straight cuts and cut joints and swivel joints, like no ball joints, no insert molded joints. So it's like you're getting these like, goofy angles, and they're not going to give you any real functional articulation. So
you still need a base to make them. Yeah.
Let's go to Ralphie in Long Island. Ralphie.
Hey, what's going on? This is the greatest show ever, because I'm going through my 80s month where I'm only watching 80s TV and watching
nice.
80s movies. I got the Fire Stick, got it hooked up with Cody, man. I'm watching all the stuff.
Good for you, man.
It's the best, man. But anyways, I mean, the toys that I think would be killer, man, are like Never-Ending Story toys, or like figures, like in a tray. Oh, my God.
Falcor.
Off chain, for real. I mean, for real, that's why I'm so excited. I'm going to get a 3D printer here pretty soon. Maybe try to print my own stuff with it.
You can't just download a Google image and think it's going to print out the toy for you, sir.
I think Neverending Story is a cool, but I don't know that the product would sell very well.
Yeah, fantasy is tougher. Like, we've done bigger fantasy brands like Dark Crystal and Labyrinth and stuff, and the sales are soft. It's not like it's not like the horror or the action sci-fi genre. So it's a tough sell. It might work for something statuesque or like a bookend or like a snow globe or some gifty type of thing. But I think as a figure line, it's definitely a tougher sell.
How about just like a paperweight of the horse just sinking into the mud, and every day you can like pick it up and it just slowly sinks by the end of the day.
Well, you want to give this guy something?
Yeah, sure.
He's celebrating his 80s month by being intoxicated and watching only 80s stuff.
That's all right.
What do we have from NECA that we could give him here?
80s. I watched The Wizard yesterday. I was so excited. The Wizard.
I made some.
Vision Quest.
The Power Glove.
It's so bad.
I know the Power Glove.
Let's give him Kevin McAllister, which is from Home Alone. We got a couple of them in the box. How's that?
Wow, that looks pretty good.
Young Macaulay Culkin. Michael Jackson is turning over right now.
And inserting it.
Ouch.
The non-cracked out Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, Ralphie, we're going to put you on hold, and we'll make sure you get the Home Alone figure there. All the lines are lit here. Do you want to just... I know you got to run.
And you got another thing to air. I'll do a few if you want, whatever.
Yeah, let's just pick some random numbers. Where do you want to go? 1 to 10.
6.
6. Let's go to 6. It's snowy in Michigan.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Hey, doing good, sir.
All this talk about figures reminds me when I was a kid, I used to play with the Star Wars and Micronaut figures. Wow.
Micronauts, that's a great line.
I'm almost 43 and I'm still playing with them.
Yeah, the Micronaut figures are kind of cool, but the metal ones, like the arms would snap, the little joints would snap off, and you'd have a person with no legs, or they had the metal ones that lose their hands, the little white hands that they had, they'd pop off the ends, and...
Then your parents are looking like, what are you doing to these toys?
No, that means they were well played with and loved.
Yeah.
That's as a toy should be.
Then you put someone's eye out with those little bullets, so the Micronaut figures would fire off those fists, the little missiles you freaking ricochet off someone's head.
All right, what can we give Snowy here? What do we got?
Snowy something, maybe something from Little Big Planet, a Sackboy perhaps. It's pretty cool from the Sony video game series.
Those are great. I love the Sackboy figures. Yeah, man. That's a good one, Snowy. Yeah. Good on you.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
All right, thanks for the call.
No problem. We'll put Snowy on hold, get his information.
I thought it's called Sad Sack Boy.
Sad Sack.
We have Happy Sack Boy.
Oh, he was much happier.
And then Kratos Sack Boy.
That's an awesome one. I love that
badass,
one.
Whoa, that's
Ghost
cool.
of Sparta.
He's got a goatee. You can tell
From
he's evil.
God of War, yeah.
Pick a number, Randy.
9.
9. Let's go to Nick in West Virginia. Nick, how are you?
Hey guys, what's up?
What's going on, Nick?
Not much. Hey man, I'm a big fan of all the horror stuff. I was born in '81, so big fan of Friday the 13th and stuff. But definitely the Donnie Darko line's probably my favorite. I mean,
thanks,
where
man.
else are you going to get that stuff?
Yeah,
But,
that's a good one.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, like, I don't know, horror movies really aren't the same as they were in the 80s with, you know, big lead villains, but do y'all have anything coming up that, you know, anything new with horror? Other than, I mean, y'all do a lot of zombie, which I appreciate, but anything new?
Yeah, you know, as far as new IPs, you're right. That is the problem. There isn't anything that's iconic, you know, that works that's new. You got to kind of stick with the tried and true. The Freddy and Jason are pretty much your bread and butter.
You do Texas Chainsaw, too,
we
right?
We do Texas Chainsaw. We do Scream. We've
Halloween?
We used to do Halloween. I wanted to get it back, but that's a whole nother licensing issue. You know, they just don't want to cooperate.
What about, like, Chucky or Jigsaw?
We're doing Chucky this year. We did Saw for a while, and Saw kind of burned itself out, so I think it's, you know, let that one rest for a while. But we are bringing Chucky back this year. We're doing more with Freddy and Jason.
The Ash vs. Evil Dead stuff you have coming out looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And the monster, the one monster from the first couple episodes, awesome figure.
Ghost, yeah. So we showed those at Toy Fair, too, and hopefully we'll put some pictures up of that stuff, too. Yeah, Ash vs. Evil Dead, the Star series, kicks butt, so we got those coming out this summer, and then the Series 2, Season 2, should hopefully be on Stars this fall. So, I mean, if you're an Evil Dead or a Bruce Campbell fan, you definitely be checking that out. And the toy line is very cool.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Thanks for reminding me on that one.
Nick, do you only collect the horror stuff?
No, man, I'm into everything. I'm gamer or whatever, but that's just my favorite genre from them. But yeah, man, I'm down for whatever.
All right.
We'll give him one of the Blizzard Heroes of the Storm characters. It's a really kick-ass video game character. The guy's got a cape and a huge sword. He is the Lich King Arthas.
Arthas, that's a great figure. Yeah,
that's cool looking. Yeah.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, Nick,
thanks.
we'll put you on hold and give you. We'll get your information.
Yeah, even you Warcraft fans out there will appreciate a good Arthas figure.
We got to take a break in a moment here, so let's do a speed round. Pick a number.
2.
Let's go to our pal Johnny Fairplay. Johnny, how are you?
It's my birthday.
You're so lying.
Look it up, 3/11/74. I'm 42 years old. I'm driving to Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm going to see Brian Posehn do stand-up at 9:45, and then I'm heading to a brand-new barcade to go play Killer Queen, my favorite video arcade game out. It's a 10-person multiplayer game. It's fucking awesome.
And he's listening to this show, so Johnny, you're really nerding it up. Good for you, sir.
I am. And actually, I was listening to the Promising Torch livecast. I listened to you and then listened to that, and they were talking about comic books. I was like, supposedly you guys need to watch Dark Knight Returns. Yeah, I am full nerd tonight. That's what happens when you turn 42. But the cool thing is, my daughter, she's 8 years old. She gave me a homebrew beer kit for my birthday.
That could be illegal.
Yeah. It might be. It might be. So I think pre-fermentation, you're okay.
Okay. What can we hook Mr. Fairplay up for his birthday with?
Well, can I make? I don't know if you guys do this. I'm actually not calling for myself. I've got everything I want. I mean, I'm going to see Brian Posehn. I'm going to play the greatest video game ever. My daughter's awesome.
I know she's drinking beer.
I'm drinking beer on the road. It's true. my buddy Shots. He's a huge Godzilla fan. So if you happen to have Godzilla, I'd like to just send that to him, and that'd make my birthday awesome.
Do we have any Godzilla stuff?
Not with us tonight.
No, we have no Godzilla stuff.
All right, well, then whatever. Just make it.
We'll get Happy Sack Boy. Maybe give it to your daughter. It's a cute little, burlap sack guy. So
yeah, so if she learns to ferment that beer recipe the right way, she's earned that.
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No problem, Johnny. Take care. Have a happy birthday. Get Johnny's information. We'll do one more call, and then we got to go take a break. What do you want to pick?
Number 5.
5 is Chase in Montana. Chase, how are you?
Hey, good. How you guys doing this evening?
How's Montana?
Beautiful.
Montana E.
70 tomorrow. It's just nice out tonight.
Very nice.
Hey, listening to you guys talk about aliens, it brought me back to as a kid around here. One of our friends, after school, we go to his house, we black out all the windows, and we play aliens. It was a bunch of second graders running around shooting each other with pulse rifles in the dark. So that was
good times.
I don't remember aliens having sword fights, but that's all right.
Sword fights? No, pulse rifles.
Well, I'm guessing he's an Aliens fan. Do we have something Aliens over there that we could hook Chase up with?
Yeah, we have the Grid Alien from AVP. We could do that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a good figure for you, sir.
Thank you very much. I'll play with it all night.
Black out the windows and do what you need to do like you did in second grade.
Exactly.
All right, Chase, we'll put you on hold. We'll get his information, and we have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's one of the stars of the brand new movie, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Randy from NECA Toys, thank you so much. You want to give out the information where everyone can get in touch with you?
Yeah, NECA_toys on Twitter, NECAonline.com is the website, NECA Official on Facebook. Get a quick plug-in. We're going to be up at Alamo Draft House tomorrow night in Yonkers doing Elm Street 4 with those fine folks.
Is that Dream Warriors?
It is Dream Master.
Oh,
3, I think, is
Dream Warriors.
Okay.
So we're giving away some toys. We're going to debut some new toys. There's a whole display of movie props there. It's a fun time, and you can have some food and drink some beer and watch a really crappy Freddy movie with your loved one. So that'll be cool. And watch for some cool alien announcements next month.
That is the time. Good for you. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Stay there. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is an accomplished actress of stage and screen, a singer. She does aerial silk fitness and is currently learning the piano.
Yes.
That is true, okay. You may recognize her from her roles in The Ring 2, Final Destination 3, Die Hards 4 and 5. You can see where I'm going with this. Smashed, and of course, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. But I know her best as Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Hello, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, one of those movies that I guess people, as far as mainstream goes, wasn't a huge blockbuster, but for people who knew the comic book, like myself, this was like, I can't believe this movie was ever getting made.
Right, that it even exists is kind of an amazing thing. And it's grown so much. It's grown in popularity over the years. Like,
have you been to a Comic-Con lately?
It's been a few years, but I get pictures all the time.
Yeah, people still are dressing up.
Yeah, it's so cool. I love it. And every year I get more and more people like stopping me and like saying Ramona Flowers. So it's kind of incredible.
Did you read the comic book before you did the movie?
I hadn't heard of the comic before I did the movie, but I signed on to the movie actually like a couple years before we shot it. So the comic was, I think still kind of like catching on at that time. So I was so excited once I read it and just was like so happy to dive in and be a part of it.
Were you reading it right before you started shooting, or did you read it right as you were doing the movies, trying to get a feel for how to do the character?
Before I ever even met with Edgar, like I knew that he wanted, actually we had like a lunch meeting and then he was like, these are the books. I might be doing this movie down the line. It could be cool. This was like 2 years before we even shot it. And then I read them immediately, everyone that was out at that point, and was just like, yes, please, whatever I can do to be in this movie.
You've been in so many movies that had big followings. Obviously, the Ring franchise. You did the remake of The Thing, the Die Hard. It's not even, I was going to say trilogy, but it's 5 movies.
I know.
And with a 6th possible coming out. Yeah. You've been lucky enough to been in so many great and beloved franchises. Scott Pilgrim, another one which was just a cult thing that a studio took a chance on, and to this day, whenever it's on like FXX or something like that, I'm like, all right, this is my Sunday. I'm going to sit here and watch the rest of this.
So cool.
You're joining yet another, which looks like to be a franchise for Cloverfield. This movie originally was a script called The Cellar.
Yes.
And then JJ got his hands on it and said, this seems a lot like it ties into what we did with Cloverfield here. I think we can change this a little bit and make there's something bigger and better.
Yeah. I think, what happened is not necessarily that it could tie in and be a sequel to Cloverfield, but that it felt very much like a Bad Robot film of that ilk. You know, it had the same spirit as Cloverfield. And so I think he thought, hey, with like a little retooling, we could really make this something that feels like ours, you know. And I think he just kind of wants to create a world where when you go to see one of these movies that he produces, they feel connected in some spiritual way, in some bigger way.
Yeah, I think JJ's quote was that it's not a sequel per se, but it's definitely a blood relative.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be a great, perfect double feature, you know, in that sense.
And it was a little weird, too, because he said that, and he said it wasn't quite the sequel, but, first, we'll back up a little bit.
Yeah.
When the trailer came out, everyone was like, when did they make this? Where the hell was this? Like, nobody knew this movie existed.
Yeah.
Quick trailer. Wow, less than 2 months before this movie is going to come out, which is unheard of, because usually they got to ramp up and do all this marketing and promotion, like you're doing here, interviews and what have you. And they said, nope, we're just going to put it out and do it this kind of bare bones way, which is kind of cool if you're a fan of that kind of genre.
Yeah.
To see it like this way, like it keeps a lot of mystery and suspense and secret, a lot of whatever the secrets are to the movie. Kind of keeps it a little close to the chest there, so that you don't really know what's going on. But then they put out one other trailer where I don't know if I'm guessing it's you standing in the field looking at the house. There's a glow behind it. Looks a little Rocky Horror-ish, if you will. But then you hear the sound of the monster from the first movie, so you're like, okay, so maybe the monster is in that movie, I don't know, or maybe this is where he landed before going into Manhattan, or whatever.
Well, I think it's debatable what the sound is, you know, which I won't say, but you know, but I think, you know, even the trailers that give some stuff away when you see the movie, it still is not, you still don't know what's going to happen, because the movie is
honestly,
so like,
I haven't seen the movie, but I don't think the trailer's giving anything away, other than, wow, John Goodman and Mary in this movie. And then the third guy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on what you think is happening, because I have some people are like, oh, it's giving everything away, and I'm like, no, it's really not. There's so much that happens in the movie, and that's the whole point of the marketing, has been like, this movie by design is the kind of movie that you just don't want people to know about, because it would ruin it. It would ruin the experience, you know. It's not like, oh, it's a rom-com that we kind of know the formula and we know what's going to happen and we see it because we know we're going to feel good or whatever. Like, the whole point of this movie is to go on this roller coaster ride where you don't know what's going to happen from scene to scene, from moment to moment. And you want to go in there totally pure, you know, as much as possible.
Also, based on the trailer, one can assume that it's in current time, but you don't know what time period you're in based on the trailer, because if it's current time, it has its charm, that bunker where it looks very 1950s, you know, Cold War panic fallout shelter. I mean, the way the couch looks, the artwork, the carpeting and stuff like that. It's like, wow, this guy has been planned for a long time to have this place ready to go for whatever he thinks is going to happen happens. So is that a fair assumption? You don't know what time frame that this is happening, or is it in real time?
I think it's fair. I think we can say that it's current time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, you see a car in the film, you see a cell phone in the film, so those are little things that tip you off to that it's happening in current time. But that's all really specific to the character Power that John Goodman plays. You know, his character is so more of another time, and he's so kind of stuck in another era that, you know, the set design really reflects that, and it's really kind of creepy, you know, and kind of adds to the tension in a lot of ways.
Does time play a key role in this movie here? Like, even though it could be current time, meaning right now as we speak, but could it be current time in the sense of like we said, is this when around the same time that the other attack was happening in the original Cloverfield?
I think we've been pretty clear, and like just the past couple of days in the interviews that we've been doing, and saying that it's not connected in a timeline to the other Cloverfield. So I just want people to know that going into it, like, it's definitely connected in the spiritual way, and we definitely want fans to have a similar experience when they saw that movie as to, you know, what they're going to have with this one. But it's not, you know, like a linear sequel, or it's not going to be something where you're going to say, oh, that was happening at the same time. It's like, you know, that happened in whatever year that happened in, and this is happening now.
When you get the role for this, you didn't find out the title of the movie until they told you, because everything was so hush-hush and done in such a rush that you didn't find out the title of the movie until they said, oh, they're releasing the trailer tonight.
Yes.
So when you were shooting the movie, you had no idea that this was anything to do with the spirit of Cloverfield?
I knew that it was in the spirit of Cloverfield in the sense that when I first met on it, that we talked about that, and it was talked about on set, and it was talked about even how it could be connected in a more linear way. You know, like that was a discussion that was happening around me. But since we didn't follow through on a lot of those more specific things, it wasn't something I was aware that was going to be connected with a title up until, you know, it came out, the trailer came out. So, but now I totally get it. You know, once it was explained to me, I was like, okay, we just want people to know going into it that this is in the same vein as that, and that's part of this greater world. And I think that once a few more films come out down the line that are part of this world, it's going to make a little more sense.
Right.
Right now it's like, so like, wait, what is this? What's happening? But I think JJ has this like kind of mastermind idea behind the whole thing that once you know more about that, it really all starts to kind of make more sense.
When was this movie shot?
It was shot, we finished in December of last year, so
Okay.
like about a little under a year and a half ago.
Because I was going to ask how hands-on was JJ, because for the last 3 years he was consumed with Star Wars, and then Star Wars was coming out, so he was constantly in the press for that. And then even when it was out, he was doing all the talk show appearances and the cons and all the specialty stuff that they had to do. So even up to the movie and after the movie, he was still doing Star Wars. Yeah. When did he have time to work on this?
I think he's superhuman is what I have come to conclude, because when I signed on to it, I was like, so cool that he's involved, but obviously he's not going to really have time to be around or really talk to us that much because, you know, he's going to be so bogged down with the other little things, you know, that he's doing. And he was more involved than I could have ever imagined. His presence was felt on set every day. His notes were on every scene, on every, set of dailies. His ideas were coming in every day. If he had a new exciting idea that we all loved and wanted to embrace, it would like go into a scene that day. It was all happening very much in real time. It was kind of crazy.
It's like, why are there stormtroopers in this thing?
Right.
Like,
all of a sudden,
wrong movie.
Confused.
Sorry.
I know.
Okay. Give me a minute.
I was
Separate.
hoping I could get some info, some secret info out of what was happening on that set, but he's way too good about keeping secrets. I didn't get anything.
Going back to the set, are there any hidden Easter eggs in the set to look for? Is there like a photo of something from the Bad Robot universe, or maybe Star Wars, or something personal of yours?
There's a lot of that stuff, but for me, I honestly wasn't really aware of it when we were shooting.
Is the Scott Pilgrim comic book laying down on a magazine stack somewhere down there?
I think most of the things that are in there are things from the JJ world that you'll certainly be able to pick out on numerous viewings of the movie, but those are things that I'm still learning about.
A VHS copy of Super 8?
Right. Yeah. I have to wait and see, but there's some things in there to keep an eye out for.
Did you take anything when the movie was done? Was there anything kind of cool that you're like, I kind of want that shawl that's sitting on the chair over there or something like that?
Yeah, well, there's something, I won't give it away, but there's something towards the end of the movie that I wear that I really wanted to keep, but by the 10th day wearing it or whatever, it was so uncomfortable, and so I kind of got rid of that idea, but that'll make sense when people see the movie.
Could have just got a mannequin,
right?
Like the guys who play superhero characters.
That's true.
They always get one version of their outfit, and they have a mannequin in their house that wears the costume.
It also had a very intense smell.
Oh, yeah, then maybe you don't want that in your house.
Yeah, exactly. And the more you wore it, the more it was sort of it was very strange. It was, if I could say more about it, I would. But yeah, it's a very strange thing.
Did you see the original Cloverfield?
I did.
What'd you think of it?
I loved it. I saw it in the theaters. I was totally pumped for it.
Didn't have that complaint. I didn't have this complaint, but a lot of people have the complaint of the shaky cam thing, and I thought that was just nitpicking.
Yeah, I mean, also, I can see how now, because since that movie's come out, there's been so many more movies with the shaky cam, so you kind of get a little fatigue of just seeing so many of those movies. But at the time, I hadn't really seen anything like it that combined that sensibility with this big action monster movie. I mean, it was such a smart, clever idea. And it really made it feel so fresh and young and cool and exciting. And it was totally something that I thought, I would love to be a part of something like that.
For the most part, I love the fact, especially in the promotions and the trailers leading up to the original Cloverfield release, that you never saw the monster.
Right.
And even through most of the movie, you didn't see it either. You saw little, I guess, tentacles, or maybe would have been a claw, something like that.
Yeah.
And the little things that were falling off of it. You didn't really see too much of the monster, and I think that made it worse, more terrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
Than like a Godzilla movie where you're waiting for Godzilla, you see Godzilla, and then you want to see Godzilla just run through and trash everything.
Well, then you're relying on like that, whatever design of the monster, that better be terrifying, or else, the whole movie is sort of screwed, because that's all you're really relying on. But when you're building something that's much more about what's happening around it, I think it's so much more exciting for the audience to make you feel like it's really real, because you don't have them nitpicking and going, I don't know if that looks quite real or not. You're just really feeling it inside.
There was so much speculation for years that if they were to do a sequel to Cloverfield, again, 10 Cloverfield Lane, not really a sequel, but it has the essence of Cloverfield. If they were to do a sequel of the original Cloverfield, a lot of people thought that it was going to be the scene where T.J. Miller's on the Brooklyn Bridge with his camcorder, runs into another guy with his camcorder, and it was going to be his footage from his side of the story. And then, of course, then it was like, well, what if another creature dropped in Los Angeles or another part of the world, and you show you what happened over there. And then to go into this route, again, blindsided everybody, but I think people who were fans of the original movie, or just those kind of suspense, I don't even say horror, but suspense, terror, monster kind of movies will enjoy what they're going to see here in 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Absolutely. I think it is, it's like taking the idea of a sequel and sort of just going, let's actually go over here, you know? It's just kind of going in another lane, so to speak, to use a bit of the title. But yeah, it's not a sequel in a literal way, but it feels like it. And we've been saying the word spiritual a lot, but that's what makes the most sense.
So there's no characters walking around like, man, this feels like Cloverfield, taking you out of the whole story here. It's like, why did they put that line in there?
That would be funny if like our characters had seen the movie and we're like, is this Cloverfield or something?
And it turns out that John Goodman's just a huge Cloverfield fan. Like there was an extra door. He's got the toy that nobody owned, and the posters and stuff, and maybe Lizzie Kaplan's tied up.
Totally. Hey, maybe that's what happens,
John Goodman, what was it like working with him?
Incredible. He's just such a sweetheart and such a brilliant actor and so committed.
I always wanted to meet him.
He's the best. I mean, he's so funny in like such a way that you kind of don't expect, because he's a little bit quiet, and especially on set, like he's very focused. But as soon as like somebody would bring up something, that he could have like a little jab with, he was so quick with a joke and with a line that you just go, oh my God, where did that come from? That was hilarious.
I always felt he was the closest that we had to a modern day Jackie Gleason.
Totally.
The big loud guy. He was very funny, had the heart of gold, could be a sweetheart too. And I say dangerous in a nice way, but very dangerous when he was doing serious acting.
Oh, yeah.
Like you saw him on Roseanne and he killed, as being Dan. And of course, Big Lebowski, where he was serious, but it was in a funny role. Arachnophobia, creepy movie, but still a funny role. Of course, one of my favorites, nobody likes it, King Ralph. I love him as King Ralph. But when you see him in more of the serious roles, you're like, that guy can do everything.
He can do anything. And I think when I was a kid watching him, because I think my first introduction to him was probably Roseanne, and so I don't think I realized that he was such a seasoned. He comes from the theater, like serious.
He took over for the Blues Brothers, for a while with Jim Belushi.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that kind of like skill and training that just goes to that level where he can do anything on a dime, like anything you ask him to do, anything character you ask him to play, emotion that he needs to play. It's all just like built into him. He can do anything. And that's just like, he's like one of our best actors of all time. I really think he is.
Does he feel like a dad? Like he seems like one of those guys where even though you're an actor, he's an actor, and you're in a movie together, and you're on the same level professionally, and get to know him as a person. He just feels like he would be a dad, like a father figure.
Yeah, there's something about his voice too that's just like this like comforting but authoritative, kind of thing that.
Well, he was Fred Flintstone.
And he was Fred Flintstone. And when you grow up with somebody, like hearing somebody's voice for so many years, I think it does become like they're like a family member in your head. So it was weird kind of doing scenes with him in the beginning and having him like speak to me and looking at him and being like, this is John Goodman, but he's so scary. Like it was confusing, to my brain for a minute, because I want to love him. I'm programmed to love him from seeing him in so many things where he's so fantastic. So it took a little while to kind of get used to the fact that my character is supposed to be so scared of this guy.
Right. And you just keep thinking, it's like, I want to give this guy a hug.
Exactly. I know. He's so huggable. He's the best.
The movie is 10 Cloverfield Lane. It is out today. Running out of time with you, but I want to ask you two other non-movie questions.
Okay.
One, I saw on your Instagram that you're doing the aerial fitness in Los Angeles.
Yes.
How terrifying is that to start? Because it looks like you have to be really or build up some kind of coordination for it. It looks like it would take me forever just to try to pull myself up.
I know. It's so much harder than it looks. I think that's what really struck me. And so much more painful because it looks so kind of effortless and like, oh, you're just floating around on ribbons and so pretty. But it's like cutting into your skin. I get so many bruises.
I'm sure. Do you have to chalk up like you would gymnastics
I've
or
done
something?
some of those classes that are more like circus based. And like you do trapeze and like all that. And you have to wear chalk and stuff for that. But it's so much fun. And it's so much more fun than going to the gym. So that's why I love it.
It looks it, but I've seen a lot of that, and it's just like, I can't do that.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough. But once you get the hang of it, like I think once I did it for about a month, my body started to get a little bit more used to it, and things started coming a lot more easily. And you kind of have to stick with it for a little while to train your body, to know what to do.
Last question for you. It's pretty well known story that you passed up the role on Cinderella Story. Which went to Hilary Duff.
I was not the Hilary Duff role.
Oh, wasn't her role?
No, she was already playing that role. It was a smaller role.
Okay, well, you still passed up the movie, and you wound up going on a cruise.
Yes.
And you don't regret that decision because you met your husband on the cruise. Have you been on a cruise since? Do you like going on cruises?
You know, we always talked about wanting to go on another cruise because we loved it so much and we met each other on a cruise. And so for years we talked about, we need to do that again. And now I think we've like passed that point where now we're like, yeah, I don't know if we want to go on another cruise. I think we just like now
rather just go to a resort.
Yeah, rather just go to a resort and not be stuck out on a boat somewhere with tons of strangers. But as an 18-year-old, it was like, this is so exciting. All these people you can meet and talk to, and that's sort of how we met.
Well, let me tell you, as a 37-year-old, I still enjoy going on cruises.
Do you?
Yeah, and I was excited. I'm like, somebody else. Because anytime I ask somebody to go, they're like, I really don't want to do that. And I find them so much fun.
It is.
But I get the whole thing about a resort being seclusive and everything's taken care of for you, and you can just relax without a million people around you.
Totally, and you can leave when you want. The thing about the cruises, you're kind of
you can leave if you want to. You just wind up in the water.
Exactly.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. It's M_E_ Winstead on Twitter. I'm guessing somebody had every form of your name, so that's what you were you left with. M.E. Wins on Instagram and Mary E. Winstead on Facebook. 10 Cloverfield Lane. Sorry, not Cloverfield. 10 Cloverfield Lane. Out tonight, nationwide. Go see it. I'm guessing it's going to be #1 this week.
I hope so. Fingers crossed.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Like we said, 10 Cloverfield Lane is out tonight.
That's
this
right.
weekend. Go check it out if you're a fan of Cloverfield or terror or suspense or monster movies.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on in this movie here?
I know 1 or 2 people who have seen it already that said it's absolutely amazing.
I've heard people say that it's Oscar level good.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see how this movie is.
And it's got John Goodman in it. So what can go wrong with
John
that?
Goodman.
Who doesn't? And thank you also to Louis Anderson, who we had on earlier. Baskets on FX, Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Please watch that show and try to write to Disney and see if they'll give up the rights to make the Life of Louis box set that he wants to do so badly. And, of course, our buddy Randy from NECA Toys, NECA_toys on Twitter, NECAonline.com for their website to see all the new stuff. He talked about a bunch of great products that are coming out. If you're a video game fan, especially Contra, Castlevania, I'm forgetting some of the other ones there, but some more horror stuff's coming through. Aliens, maybe more Predator stuff. Whole bunch of cool stuff. NECAonline.com. Check all that out. Let's go around the room and get the plugs out of the way. Matt OG.
Geek Stuff OG on Twitter and Instagram, and maybe Geek Stuff, the podcast, will be back next week.
Ooh, it's been a while.
It has been a while.
Nice.
Is there a Patreon or a Kickstarter or something for that?
No, but you could just donate through our PayPal account.
Yeah, find Matt's PayPal. Giddles?
Giddlebase on the Twitter and Instagram and Xbox Live, and I'm supposed to do a meatball takedown next week, but I'm kind of on the fence about it because I got to work on this recipe, so I'll let everyone know next Friday whether or not I'm in last minute, but we'll see.
All right, there you go. Also, Lisa Correo is not going to be with us for a while. She's doing gigs Florida and the Bahamas and Los Angeles. I heard, I don't know if I'm supposed to give it out, but she's going to be opening for a very big comedian. Whole bunch of dates coming soon out in Los Angeles. So Patton Oswalt. Anyway.
I think she mentioned that the last time she was here.
Yeah.
LisaCorreo.com for all her dates and everything. And as for the show, it's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Instagram, everything social media for that. And then for me, it's E-Rock Radio. Next week on the program, it's going to be a lot of fun as we welcome the cast of Marvel's Daredevil to the show. And maybe a couple other things here or there.
Nice.
That's it, right? We covered everything?
I think we are good, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, until next week, be seeing you.
It's Erik Nagel. And that's all the time we have. Follow the show at It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Unless we do something stupid or something better comes along. We'll be back next time here on OP Radio.